Hello, welcome to the Fanfic Majesty. 11 Op Hus. Chapter 201. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. This idiot. Mu Feng clutched his head, his forehead was full of black lines. His body flickered, he appeared directly on the execution platform, and when he recorded the Death Tempest kick, he blasted the buggy into the air. Conqueror's Hockey fainted slightly, and almost everyone present fainted in an instant. Mu Feng's experience and color did not perceive the figure of the dragon around. If he did not make a move, Luffy would definitely die this time. How could Mu Feng not make a move? Hey, Mu Feng, thank you. I thought I was dead this time. Luffy laughed heartlessly and patted Mu Feng on the shoulder. In this regard, Mu Feng could only turn over Byakugan, expressing helplessness. And he said, Luffy, that place is not something you can go up, at least before you become the One Piece. Oh. But the scenery above is really good. Luffy thought for a while and said. Suddenly my eyes lit up. That's decided, I will come here again when I become the One Piece. Hearing Luffy's words, Mu Feng twitched his mouth and decided not to talk to Luffy. Execution station, do you want to be executed that way? You really are an idiot. Looking up, taking a look at the black cumulonimbus cloud in the distance, Mu Feng said, go ahead. If you don't leave this sea area quickly, there will be a storm. Then, maybe we're going to be trapped. Logue Town has been around for days. Oh, then let's hurry up. Luffy nodded hurriedly. Advertisement. There was such a big noise in the square. How could Smoker, who stationed in Logue Town, didn't know it, and quickly rushed to the square, and used the fruit ability to quickly clean up the pirates on the square. After solving the group of pirates, Smoker did not find a Straw Hat crew. Thinking of seeing Buggy execute Luffy just now, there was no trace of fear on Luffy's face. Can't help but think of Roger, the One Piece King who was executed here 22 years ago. It is also Logue Town, is it possible? Straw Hat Luffy is a pirate destined to heaven. No. Even if you bet on the reputation of a colonel in my headquarters, you must never let that guy leave Logue Town. Smoker roared. Riding on his own motorcycle brought by marine soldiers, Smoker rushed to the dock. The motorcycle is specially made for Smoker by naval headquarters. The power is his smoke fruit. When it is activated, the smoke is sprayed from the back of the motorcycle, and the boosting effect is comparable to the booster of a rocket. Smoker arrived at the dock faster than Luffy. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Straw Hat Luffy. My name is Smoker, Colonel Naval Headquarters. I will never let you escape from Logue Town. White Bear Admiral. Smoker blocked Luffy's way to board the ship. But suddenly, Smoker's eyes widened, because he saw Mu Feng standing next to Luffy. As a colonel of Naval Headquarters, Smoker can certainly recognize Mu Feng. Oh, Smoker. You have been sent to garrison Logue Town. Okay. Good. Come on and work hard. I am optimistic about you. Mu Feng said. I will, Admiral the White Bear. Smoker's face flushed after hearing Mu Feng's encouragement. As a younger generation of Marine, Smoker admires Mu Feng very much. Advertisement. Smoker, can you give me a hand? We are in a hurry. If we don't go out to sea as soon as possible, the storm may come. Mu Feng suddenly said. Oh, okay. Smoker nodded quickly in response. But when he was about to give way, he was suddenly stunned. I looked at Mu Feng with astonishment, and then at Luffy next to Mu Feng. Astonished. Admiral the White Bear, Luffy the Straw Hat. Luffy the Straw Hat is a pirate. Could it be? Are you going to go to sea with them? How can this work? Absolutely not. Smoker stretched out his arms directly. A wall of white fog is formed, trying to block Mu Feng's path. Well, do you want to stop me? This level is not enough. While Mu Feng spoke, Conqueror's Hockey burst out and shook Smoker directly. Even the internal organs are somewhat injured. Naturally, Smoker can't maintain the smoke state. Looking at Smoker lying on the ground, Mu Feng shook his head and said, Smoker, remember that I met you at the Naval Headquarters training camp a few years ago. As a Logia Devil Fruit capable person, whether it is the chief instructor of Zephyr or the marshal, all have great hopes for you. But seeing you now, compared with a few years ago, there is not the slightest increase in strength. Smoke fruit is such a good Logia that you completely wasted. You haven't even discovered the nature of the smoke, do you just regard the power of the smoke as mist? Didn't you find that, whether it is small water droplets or tiny suspended objects, all are smoke? Even crocodiles sand fruit. Logically speaking, they belong to smoke fruit's subordinates, do you understand? Quote. Looking at Smoker with a pensive appearance, Mu Feng shrugged. Well, you can continue to think about life here. I'm leaving first. Bye-bye. After speaking, Mu Feng hurriedly greeted Luffy and set sail, because it had started to rain. But Smoker was stunned, thinking about what Mu Feng said in his mind. When I reacted again, Going Merry could only see a silhouette. Advertisement. Admiral the White Bear. Luffy the Straw Hat. It must be Luffy the Straw Hat. I don't know how to confuse Admiral the White Bear. Damn it. Luffy the Straw Hat. Wait. I must take you into the underwater prison. Smoker hit the ground and roared loudly. Smoker at this moment is full of grief and anger. Mu Feng is the person he admires, and it is also Admiral. Smoker naturally does not think that Mu Feng will be wrong, so the only thing wrong is Luffy. Luffy lies down with a gun. Suddenly, Smoker thought of something. Busily took out a phone worm, Nuo Zhao's, from his arms and dialed. After a while, a calm voice rang from the phone worm. Moses. First Marine Marshal Sengoku, the Buddha, report anything as soon as possible. Marshal Sengoku, it's me, Smoker. Smoker said hurriedly. It's Smoker. Why? You're not stationed in Logue Town, has something happened? Sengoku asked aloud. Smoker is a colonel in this department, so naturally there is his phone worm. If it is the Marine General of the branch, at least he must be above the Lieutenant General level to have his phone worm. White Bear Admiral, bewitched by the pirates, and went out to sea with the pirates. Smoker reported to Sengoku what he had brained up. What? Sengoku in Marshal Marine's office was almost scared to death. The voice suddenly raised 800 decibels and roared. On the side, Garp, who was stuffing a donut in his mouth, almost choked to death by Sengoku's voice. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 202. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Garp's choking eyes were almost glaring, and he quickly picked up a glass of water on the table and drank it. This is the appearance of Alive, looking at Sengoku, complaining and saying, Sengoku, you speak a little this will scare people to death. As for Sengoku, Garp is not in control at this time. He hurriedly asked the phone bug. Smoker, explain the situation in detail, what happened to Logue Town? Hearing that it was Logue Town in Donghai, Garp also pricked his ears. Smoker didn't dare to hesitate at all, and quickly explained the whole story. Knowing the whole story, Sengoku breathed a sigh of relief. I scolded Smoker half to death in my heart, but I could only say, yeah, I already knew about the actions of Admiral the White Bear. Don't worry, Admiral has his own measures for these white bears. Smoker, continue to stay in Logue Town. When you transfer back to Naval Headquarters in half a year, I hope you can have the strength. Significant improvement. Hanging up the call with Smoker, Sengoku looked at Garp with his ears erected, his face full of resentment. Yet another grandson ran to be a pirate. Be a pirate when you are a pirate. Marine can do nothing but open your eyes and close your eyes, but don't make the news. This time, not only made a big fuss on One Piece's execution stand. Marine Admiral also rescued A-847 pirates. What kind of thing is this? Ahaha. Yes, this kid Luffy is good. Garp laughed straight. That's not bad for your size. Your two grandsons have all become pirates. Seeing Garp, who was laughing heartlessly, Sengoku snarled loudly. Who said that? This kid Mu Feng is also my grandson, so he has become Marine. And he is still the strongest Marine. Garp said without showing any weakness. Advertisement. Sengoku was choked by Garp and was speechless. Not to mention that two of Garp's 3 grandsons became pirates, only Mu Feng became Marine. Even if Garp has 10 more grandchildren and all become pirates, Sengoku is absolutely knotted and willing to exchange for a Marine with the strength of Mu Feng. Even if it is only half of Mu Feng's strength, Sengoku will certainly not hesitate. Of course, this assumption is totally untenable. First of all, Garp can't get 10 grandchildren, and more importantly, it is impossible for Mu Feng to have such a terrifying power. Ignoring the triumphant Garp on the side, Sengoku dialed Mu Feng's phone worm. Marshall, what's the matter? I'm having lunch. By the way, the steaks at Barati at Donghai Hai restaurant are pretty good. You can try it when you have time. Really? Then it seems that next time you sneak me back to the East China Sea, you can go for a meal. Sengoku didn't speak, but Garp on the side interjected. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. The old man is here too. Luffy just told me that you threw him off the cliff, saying that you are the most inhuman grandfather in the whole sea. Mu Feng said with a smile. This little bastard. Tell him that next time I meet, I will let him know the power of Grandpa's love and iron fist. How dare I be a pirate without telling me? Garp glared. Ahem. Sengoku coughed twice before expressing his sense of existence. Then he said, Mu Feng, how come your kid got on the pirate ship? Pirate. Well, where are the pirates? Luffy hasn't been offered a reward yet. Besides, I haven't got a ship back to naval headquarters. When I arrive at the marine base in Alabaston, I will have a ship. I'll be in this department. Toot, toot, toot. As soon as Mu Feng finished speaking, the phone worm rang a busy tone. Obviously, Mu Feng directly hung up the phone worm and did not give Sengoku a chance to speak. Sengoku was helpless, and Garp began to stuff donuts in his mouth again. Advertisement. Comma 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 comma. Grandpa, Grandpa, Grandpa. I heard Grandpa's voice. Going merry. Luffy jumped up and down. The expression on his face was terrified. Luffy, Luffy, what's wrong with him? Nami wondered. In her impression, Luffy has always been heartless, even in Logue Town, when he was infinitely close to death, he never showed a look of panic. How could he be so scared? I guess I thought of the fear of being dominated by the iron fist of love. Mu Feng said with a smile. Comma 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 comma. Did you see that light? That is the navigation light that enters the Grand Line. The heavy rain was heavy, and the raindrops fell on the deck and made a crackling sound. Even though it was only a meter or two away, Nami had to make a loud noise. So that everyone can hear her voice. At this moment, Sanji suddenly moved a big wine barrel from the side and smiled. Then put one foot directly on the barrel. Rubbing his nose, he said, okay. Let's have a ceremony to drive into the Grand Line. Then shouted. I was to find all blue, also known as the Blue Ocean. It is an ocean where all the ingredients of the four oceans are gathered. It is the dream of Zapu, and it is also the dream place of Sanji after inheriting the dream of Zapu. Advertisement. Luffy did a good job, raising his foot and placing it on the barrel. Then he gritted his teeth and shouted loudly, I want to be the One Piece. I am surveying and mapping the world's nautical map. Nami yelled. I want to be the world's #1 swordsman. Zoro shouted. I didn't forget to look at Mu Feng, who was standing on the side with his hands on the back of his head. I want to be a brave sea warrior. After thinking for a long time, Usopp found that he had no dreams, so he shouted casually. After the crowd shouted, they didn't step on the wine barrel immediately, but looked at Mu Feng together. Luffy asked, Mu Feng, come on. Forget it, I'm not from your pirate group. Mu Feng shrugged. It doesn't matter. It's just a ritual, not to let you join the pirates. Besides, I also want to know what your dream is for big brother Mu Feng. Nami said. Mu Feng thought for a while, and then looked at the members of the Straw Hat Pirates. Asked. Is it really okay? Sure. I'm Marine Admiral. Seeing Sanji, Zoro, Usopp's gaze, there was no resistance. Mu Feng just smiled and said, say it first, this is what you asked me to say. Then Mu Feng put the tripod on the wine barrel with a weird smile on his face, and suddenly shouted, I want to eliminate all the pirates in the sea. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 203. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. As soon as Mu Feng's words were spoken, the whole Going Merry became silent in an instant. All of them looked at Mu Feng with a dull face. This is a bit unlucky. Don't look at me, but you let me say it. Mu Feng's expression is not bad for me. Destroy all the pirates in the sea. Mu Feng didn't have this idle time. If Mu Feng wanted to, in the past 6 years, let alone sweeping away all the pirates in the world, at least the pirates of the Grand Line could be completely wiped out by him, including the 4 emperors. Hey. Then Mu Feng, it seems that you can't do anything with me. Luffy suddenly smiled. Because I am not a pirate, but a pirate. Luffy's thinking is always different from others. After Luffy's gag, the atmosphere on the boat eased a bit. Let's go. Towards Grand Line. Comma 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 comma. In the cabin of Going Merry. Troublesome, if you move on like this, it's really the same as the rumors. The entrance of the Grand Line, it's a mountain. Nami looked at the map and said seriously. Advertisement. Mountain. Just kidding. Nami. What? Do you want to hit the mountain? No, there is a canal here. Canal. Nonsense. Even if there is a canal, a boat can't climb up the mountain. Usopp obviously still couldn't believe it. Upside Down Mountain, also called Libas Mountain. It is an incredible and crisis-filled mountain. It is also the entrance to the Grand Line. There are 5 waterways on Upside Down Mountain. 4 of them are connected to the sea, and the other waterway flows into Grand Line. Mu Feng smiled and said, "Don't worry, as long as we follow the direction of the lighthouse just now, we will definitely be able to enter the Grand Line." But the lighthouse is out. Luffy said anxiously. It's okay, I remember that direction. Nami said. Then he looked puzzled. But do we really want to climb the mountain? But the boat. It's difficult to explain, but you will know later. Mu Feng laughed. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Awesome. Our boat is going to climb the mountain. By the way, Mu Feng. You seem to be familiar with the Grand Line. Luffy said excitedly. Idiot. Didn't I tell you? Naval headquarters is at the end of the first half of the Grand Line. As Marine Admiral, I live there. Mu Feng said helplessly. Brother Mu Feng, you just said that the first half of the Grand Line, is there still the second half? Nami suddenly looked at Mu Feng with a puzzled look and asked. Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, Usopp, all looked at Mu Feng with doubts. They are all very curious about Grand Line. Mu Feng smiled and explained. The Grand Line is divided into 2 parts by the Red Earth continent. The first part is the sea area we are about to enter. After half of the voyage, we need to cross the Red Earth continent to reach the second part, which is the second half of the Grand Line New World. Advertisement. Compared with the first half, there is the settlement of powerful pirates. There are many great pirates offering a reward of more than 500 million, and there are 4 emperors that can be called monster level. By the way, Luffy, Shanks are one of the 4 emperors, and Usopp, your father. He is the cadre of Shanks' red hair pirates and a very powerful big pirate. Quote. 500 million. Sanji's eyes popped out. You know, at that time, there was a big trouble in the restaurant on the sea, and there was only 17 million Bailey's continued reward. The highest reward in the East China Sea, Aaron, is only 20 million Bailey's. Shanks. It's Shanks. I knew that Shanks must be a very powerful big pirate. Let's go to New World to find Shanks. Dad. It turns out that Dad is really a very powerful sea warrior. Luffy, I'll tell you I didn't lie. Usopp said angrily. Brother Mu Feng, such a terrifying place. Will we die? Nami said with a pale face. After all, she is a girl, so Nami must be scared. Hugging Nami, Mu Feng said with a smile. Nami, remember. If you encounter an invincible opponent in the future, then report my name. On this sea, I believe that no one will dare to move. I am the woman of Mu Feng, the white bear. Look for flowers. Hearing what Mu Feng said, Nami looked at Mu Feng with eyes full of little stars. Brother Mu Feng, is Marine Admiral so good? Nami asked. It's not because first am Marine Admiral. Rather, in this sea, Mu Feng is invincible. Mu Feng looked at the sea in the distance, and Haki said awe-inspiringly. Advertisement. Wow. What is that huge shadow? Mountain. A good mountain. It's all blocked by clouds, you can't see the end. Luffy suddenly shouted. 0. Hearing Luffy's exclamation outside the cabin, everyone was shocked and rushed to the deck. I'm going to be sucked in, go to the helm. Nami suddenly said loudly. Okay. Understand. Luffy immediately jumped to the rudder as he received the order, and the 3 of Usopp and Sanji held the rudder hard to prevent the ship from deviating from the course. However, the current that reverses the mountain canal is too turbulent. The rudder couldn't be controlled at all. Luffy desperately wanted to correct the direction of sailing, but he tried too hard to break the rudder. But fortunately, Luffy became wise, inhaled and turned into a huge rubber balloon. The ship's sailing direction was forcibly adjusted, and then it steadily sailed into the canal. Going Merry ascended the canal very quickly, and soon climbed to the top of the upside-down mountain, then swooped down and headed towards the Grand Line. Have you heard anything? Zoro moved his ears and asked. It should be the sound of wind. The terrain here is very strange, and it is inevitable. Nami smiled and said, without thinking about anything. Ahead. There is a mountain ahead. Sanji on the sail suddenly shouted. It's not a mountain. It's a whale. Going Merry swooped down, but the whale Rab, who was bigger than the island, suddenly headed towards Going Merry, and slammed right into it. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 204. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Rubber pistol. Luffy shouted. At the same time, the arm stretched, and a fist hit Rab. But the size of the island whale Rab is really huge, the body length definitely reaches tens of thousands of meters. The weight has definitely reached hundreds of thousands, or even millions of tons. In Rab's eyes, Luffy's fist was tickling. Awesome. Luffy's arm bounced back, and the whole person sat on the ground. Looking at the whale, Rab exclaimed with bright eyes. Idiot. Is it time to lament this question? Mu Feng said helplessly. But he couldn't just watch Rab bump into him. In that way, the golden, April 20th, Merry will definitely be the end of the ship's destruction. With a jerk under his feet, Mu Feng jumped straight up, raised his right arm, and made a fist to accumulate strength. Armament hockey covers the surface, and wood-style chakra is poured into it. Diamond power. Immobile. Mu Feng's power unreservedly vented and hit the whale Rab's head. Advertisement. Suddenly, the whale Rabu's head sank directly. Then, Mu Feng's huge body was blown away directly. Falling into the sea again for a long time, didn't slow down. Waiting for the whale Rab to slow down, suddenly opened his big mouth, and directly swallowed Luffy and others with the boat into the belly without thinking. When they entered the belly of this big whale, everyone was very confused. What's going on? Sure, it is not another world. The sea, white clouds, blue sky, a small island, there are houses and coconut trees on the island. We were swallowed by whales. So, what happened to that island and that house? It should be an illusion, right? Mostly dreaming. The island whale Rab at Cape Twins is very famous. Since this is the stomach of a whale, then the people living on this small island must be the tower guard of Cape Twins lighthouse. Kuroka's, a former crew member of One Piece, could it? Are you not going to come out to meet the guests? Mu Feng said with a smile. As soon as the voice fell, a sturdy old man walked out of the small island's house. The hair on his head was like a flower, very angry. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. It was Kuroka's, the ship doctor of the Roger Pirates. White Bear Admiral. Why are you here to grab my old bone? Kuroka's walked out, saw Mu Feng, his pupils shrank suddenly, and then he was relieved. Having lived for such a long time, even Lavdru had arrived, and Kuroka's had nothing to fear. Catch you. Sorry. I just dropped in and was swallowed by this whale accidentally. By the way, should you let us out? Otherwise, I'm really afraid I can't help it. It's broken. Mu Feng pointed to his finger and said. At this time everyone noticed. It turned out that both the blue sky and the white clouds above their heads are just paintings drawn on the stomach wall of a whale. White Bear Admiral joked, I'll open the door for you. If the only thing Kuroka's cares about, I'm afraid Rab is the only one. Advertisement. At this time, Vivi and Baroque Studios' Mr. Point 9 appeared. Then after a farce, the two Vivi were arrested. Kuroka's also told Luffy and others the story of Rab, and Nami was even more moved. Luffy fought Rabu even more, and agreed that after sailing around the Grand Line for a week, he would come to fight Rab again and stop Rabu from continuing to hit the Red Earth continent with his head. After that, everyone did their own things. Nami is making sailing plans, Sanji is cooking dinner for everyone, Zoro is practicing swordsmanship. Luffy is fighting Usopp. And Mu Feng smiled and sat in front of Wei Wei and Mr. Point 9. Let's talk about it, Princess Wei Wei. How is Crocodile recently? Mu Feng tilted his legs and said lightly. Look carefully, Wei Wei is still pretty. What are you talking about? I don't understand. Wei Wei's pupils shrank, but his face pretended to be puzzled, but his acting skills were a bit scumbag. Don't understand. If you don't understand, Alabaston might be destroyed. Mu Feng smiled faintly. You bullshit. The kingdom will definitely not be destroyed. Vivi said angrily. But as soon as the words were spoken, I regretted it a little. Because I am so excited, indirectly it is equivalent to acknowledging my identity. Vivi knows the situation of the country and the horror of the Baroque Work Club very well. She knows that the person in front of him is right. What are you talking about? Why can't I understand? Mr. Point 9 said confused. He really didn't know anything. He looked at Vivi and asked, is what he said true? Are you really the Princess of Alabasta? Why don't I know? Advertisement. I'm sorry. Vivi was silent for a moment, and first apologized to Mr. Point 9. Then he looked at Mu Feng and suddenly appeared puzzled. After hesitating for a while, he asked, this gentleman, may I ask where we met? Yes, at the World Summit held 5 years ago. I remember you were only 12 years old, and you were very cute with King Cobra. Mu Feng said with a smile. White Bear Admiral. Vivi's eyes widened and he was dumbfounded. Suddenly, he was excited, and said eagerly, White Bear Admiral, please save Alabaston. Crocodile wants to plot Alabaston. After speaking, Princess Vivi looked at Mu Feng pleadingly. I also know something about what happened to Alabaston. Mu Feng said, and Vivi's eyes glowed with hope. 3.2. Admiral is Marine's highest combat power. If Mu Feng can make a move, it will definitely be fine. But, as a princess, you should be very clear that Crocodile belongs to 7 warlords of the sea. It is a large pirate registered by the world government. Although first a Marine Admiral, I cannot do anything to them without the order of the world government. Mu Feng was embarrassed. Of course, Mu Feng is completely running the train. If the world government can really manage him, it will be a hell of a life. The reason why Mu Feng is reluctant to shoot Crocodile. There are mainly 2 reasons. First, Mu Feng doesn't bother to worry about troubles. Secondly, after all, 7 warlords of the sea is directly under his command, and he personally takes action against Crocodile, which is always a bit unpopular. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 205. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Really? Can't you really save Alabaston? I just saw hope, but I fell into despair. This kind of pain is definitely more painful than being in a state of despair all the time. Although I can't make a move, but it doesn't mean that others can't make a move. Mu Feng said. Tell Luffy about your affairs to them, maybe they will help you. Huh. Princess Vivi couldn't turn her head. Look at the flag on the ship, this should be a pirate ship. How could Marine Admiral stay with the pirate? Luffy, Nami, Green Algae, Color Cook, Long Nose, all come here. Without explaining too much to Vivi, Mu Feng called Luffy and the others directly. Soon everyone ran over, even the old man Kurokas. Under Vivi's narration, everyone quickly figured out the ins and outs of the matter. Hearing such an irritating thing, Luffy was the first to say that he wanted to help Vivi. Nami hesitated at first, but when he heard that there would be a reward, his eyes immediately changed to the Bailey symbol. He even gave orders to Zoro, although Zoro still had doubts. 11 But who made him still owe Nami's loan shark? There is no other way but to obey orders. Even Mr. 9 also said that he would help Vivi. Although it is a good thing that everyone is in high spirits. But, I want to ask, do you have the record pointer for arriving in Alabaston? Mu Feng suddenly interjected. Record pointer. Is it delicious? Luffy's eyes lit up when he heard something strange. Then it fell into a cold moment. After the introduction by Kurokas just now, apart from Luffy, everyone has some understanding of Grand Line, and they are all very clear about the importance of recording pointers. Advertisement. The record pointer I just gave you belongs to Alabaston. Kurokas said. But everyone has not had time to be happy. Nami suddenly punched Luffy and yelled, Luffy, you idiot, look at what you just did. Everyone is full of black lines, and you don't need to ask to know what's going on. Then there is no way. Mu Feng shrugged, looked at Vivi and asked. Vivi, you should have a record pointer. Where is it pointing? Whiskey Mountain. Vivi said honestly. That's good. Let's head to Whiskey Mountain. Luffy yelled. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Whiskey Mountain. Luffy fell asleep like a dead pig after he was full of food and drink. Mu Feng also found a room to rest, but was awakened by a riot. Only then did Mu Feng remember that there was indeed a battle at Whiskey Mountain in the plot. But Vivi has obviously surrendered. Which one is here again? Mu Feng, who was interrupted by a good dream, is very irritable at the moment. When I walked out of the room, I saw a group of people standing in the middle of the road. Zoro, Vivi, Mr. 9, and Ikalim are confronting a man and a woman. It's so late. Don't you know that sleep is very important? If you want to fight, can't you wait until tomorrow? Mu Feng said impatiently. Advertisement. Sleep. I'm afraid you won't sleep anymore in the future, said the man with the explosive head. Then he put his finger in his nostril, took out a pile of booger. But it didn't make Mu Feng disgusted. But it also reminded Mu Feng of who this guy is, the senior agent of the Baroque studio, Mr. 5, the person with the ability to explode fruits. Any part of the body can explode, even the booger that pops up, and even the air blowing out of the mouth can be regarded as an explosive. Nose fantasy cannon. Mr. 5 roared. Then he bounced the nose in his hand towards Mu Feng. Hit me with booger. Mu Feng's brows jumped. Obviously, he was extremely angry. How could this Nima be able to hold Mu Feng? The mammoth blade suddenly appeared in his hand, slashing with a sharp slash. The resplendent sword aura was brighter than the moonlight in the sky. Who am I offending? This is the last thought in Mr. 5's life. Then the sword chi swept across, but he couldn't even leave the bone scum, and he was unlucky with him, and the woman next to him, who seemed to be capable of kilograms of fruit. However, Zoro, Vivi, Mr. 9, and Ikalim were all dull at the moment. Goo. Goo. I didn't know who it was, and swallowed. Advertisement. The scene in front of you is a bit scary. The entire Whiskey Mountain was cut in half by Mu Feng with this knife. A few centimeters away from their feet. It was a deep slash that was cut out by Mu Feng. Bottom out a huge deep gully. Is this the horror of Marine Admiral? Looking at Mu Feng again, he was already full of fear. Okay. The enemy is resolved. Go back to sleep now. Remember, if anyone wakes me up again, the consequences will be the same. After a sentence, Mu Feng turned to 670 and went to sleep. Wow, what a big ditch. Did something interesting happen last night? Zoro. It's damn, you didn't wake me up. Luffy complained to Zoro. The night was silent, and when I woke up early in the morning, I could hear Luffy yelling. The recording pointer has stored the magnetism, going merry sets sail again. As for the destination of the next stop, Mu Feng said he was too lazy to think about it. Hiding in the cabin, drinking thick black tea and eating sweet oranges. Mu Feng said, well, this life is still pretty good, not bad. Not bad. Be careful when you sail, don't hit the rocks. Ah yes. The job club already knows the situation here and has sent chasing troops over. Suddenly a nice voice sounded. Standing on the deck, Zoro was taken aback. He turned his head in an instant, holding the handle of the knife in his hand. Someone sneaked into the ship without a sound. He was sitting on the railing on the second floor with a face smile. This is a woman with a wheat complexion, a perfect slender figure and a cowboy hat that makes people jealous. The mature and intellectual breath that emanates from her whole body makes her heart beating. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 206. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Devil's Son Nico Robin. Once a survivor of O'Hara, he was offered a reward of 79 million Baileys at the age of only 8, a capable person of flower fruit. I ran into Mr. 8 over there just now. Ms. Wednesday Princess Vivi. Robin rested his chin, looked at Vivi with a smile on his face and said. Mr. 8 is Ikarim, Vivi's retainer. Although Mu Feng has repeatedly used it many times, Ikarim still volunteered to go to sea alone, saying that it was to attract the pursuit of Baroque studios. Could it be? You take Ikarim. Vivi's face was gloomy. I don't care about that, but why are you sitting on our boat? Luffy asked loudly. Why are you here, miss? All Sunday. Vivi's face was full of excitement, Her emotions seemed to be completely out of control. She was worried about Ikaram. Nami stroked Vivi's back, comforting her. Advertisement. What is it this time? Who is Mr. S partner? Nami asked. She is Crocodile's partner. In fact, only this woman knows the real identity of the boss, so we know the identity of the boss by following her. Vivi stared at Robin tightly, full of he said hatefully. To be correct, I should have deliberately let you follow. Robin laughed. What? She is a good person. Luffy said seriously. From Luffy's point of view, Robin helped Vivi, that must be a good person. We already knew it. Crocodile knew about our true identity, so you told him. Vivi looked at Robin and shouted. What? You are a bad guy. Luffy said in annoyance. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. What is your purpose? Vivi yelled. This. I think you are very serious, so I can't help but help you. But Princess Vivi, you really think you can be an enemy of the Baroque studio, save the kingdom? You are too naive, too. Robin supported. The chin exudes a mature breath. Why do you think they can't save Alabaston? Suddenly a voice sounded. Can you tell me the reason? Nico Robin. The sound came from the cabin behind Robin. Robin was taken aback and turned to look. A slender figure walked out of the cabin, and when he saw the face of the person who came out, Robin's pupils slowly enlarged. The whole person couldn't help but tremble. Advertisement. White Bear. Marine Admiral White Bear. Robin exclaimed in a trembling voice, and then sat directly on the ground. Looking at Mu Feng, Robin's eyes are full of fear. Witnessing the fall of O'Hara with his own eyes, and his 20-year escape career. Let Robin know very well what kind of horror Admiral is. Why? How could Marine Admiral appear here? And it's still a white bear. Oh, compared to the appearance on the reward order, now she has become a beautiful girl. Looking at Robin, Mu Feng said with a smile. This is the first time Mu Feng has seen Robin. In the story of the pirate, Mu Feng is the one who admires and loves Robin the most. I have also asked about the whereabouts of Robin, the Marine Intelligence Department, but Robin is very well hidden and difficult to be discovered. And once discovered, Robin will change places without hesitation, so Mu Feng can't find Robin at all. By the time Robin had accurate news, she was already in the Baroque studio. Why are you here? Robin asked tremblingly. Don't worry, I'm not here to catch you. I'm just going back to naval headquarters from the East China Sea and getting off the boat. Let's continue on the previous topic. You think they can't save Alabaston, but I think they can save Alabaston. Why don't we make a bet on whether they can save Alabaston? If you lose, then promise me a request. If I lose, I ask the world government to revoke your reward. How is it? Mu Feng asked with a smile. Robin's eyes flickered, and Mu Feng seemed to have no intention of arresting himself. Then he breathed a sigh of relief and said, Admiral the White Bear is joking. If you do, Admiral the White Bear, I am afraid that 10 Crocodile will not be your opponent. 10. Haha. Even if there are 100 Crocodile, in my opinion, it is just a bunch of rubbish. Mu Feng said with disdain. Advertisement. Extremely arrogant, but he has reasons for arrogance. Turning the conversation, looking at Robin, Mu Feng smiled faintly. But, of course I won't make a move. How about, would you like to take a bet? Well, if you think the bet is not enough, I still know how many the message of the block history text can be added to the bet. Hearing the text of the history, Robin's pupils shrank suddenly, and his breathing became tight. After fleeing for a full 20 years, Robin only found a piece of historical text when he was a child, a few pieces of historical text, maybe it will be able to unlock history. I agree with your bet. After a little calming down, Robin nodded and said. Robin knows very well that whether he agrees or not, in fact, there is nothing to Mu Feng, but it may be less fun. In front of him, he is too powerless. Zhao Hao, okay, let's wait and see. Mu Feng said with a smile. Robin took a deep look at Mu Feng, then thought of something, threw an hourglass-shaped pointer to Vivi, and said, the next stop, Small Garden, is very dangerous. This is the closest to Alaba. A permanent pointer to the desert island of Stan. In this way, you can go around to Alabaston without being chased by the Job Club. But before everyone could react, Luffy took the pointer from Vivi's hand directly. Then, crushed it in a handful and threw it into the sea. He said angrily to Robin, I am the captain. You don't need to decide the direction of this ship. That's It's a pity. Good luck to you, Robin said. Looking at Mu Feng again, he jumped onto a large turtle and floated away on the turtle. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 207. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Soon, within half a day, Going Merry arrived at the small garden. Looking at the tall bushes on both sides, everyone looked excited. No matter how you look at it, it's a dense rainforest. It's more like a secret realm. Why doesn't it look like a place with such a cute name? That's it. Where it's small, it's obviously big. The animals here are amazingly large, and many of them are even prehistoric species. But note that the most dangerous thing here is not these prehistoric animals, but the tiny poisonous insects. Especially you, Nami, remember to pay attention. Mu Feng opened his mouth and said. Then why is it called Shalwaiyuan? Nami asked. Looking at Nami's appearance, she knew that she didn't listen to what she had just said. Mu Feng was a little helpless, shrugged and said, as for the reason, you will know it later. Looking at the surrounding jungle, Luffy was already shaking with excitement. Yelled. Sanji. Bento. Bento. I want a lunch. Bento. Sanji looked at Luffy with a dazed expression. Luffy's brain circuit. In this world, absolutely no one can understand. 260. Yeah, pirate bento. Because I have a sense of adventure. Luffy grinned excitedly, then looked at Nami. He, shall we go together? I see, wait a minute. Sanji had no choice but to go back to the kitchen to make lunch for him with Luffy. May I go with you? Vivi asked suddenly. Advertisement. Okay. Come on. Luffy danced. Of course he was very happy when someone accompanied him on adventures, because that was the atmosphere. Nami looked at Vivi in surprise. Vivi was a little embarrassed and said, if I stay here, I will be thinking about it. In this case, before the pointer records the magnetic force, I will go for a while. After Sanji prepared a lunch for Luffy and Vivi, the two set out for adventure. Then inexplicably, the two guys Sanji and Zoro quarreled, so Sanji proposed to play a see who hunted the heavier prey game. Then he landed on the island and started hunting BBBA, but Mu Feng was very helpless. I thought I was gone, wouldn't I and Nami be able to do shameful things? But there is also an oversized electric bulb called Usopp on board. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. No matter how Mu Feng winked, he didn't seem to see it. How could Usopp not see it? Although his strength is scumbag, he is definitely a chicken thief. Otherwise, with his weak chicken-like strength, how could he live in New World? Although he often brags, Usopp still knows how many caddies he has. It is estimated that if he ran out, he would not be able to come back. He definitely didn't want to run out. Staying on the boat, with Mu Feng, Marine Admiral, is definitely not in danger. Excuse me, is there any wine? Suddenly a loud voice sounded. Then a huge black shadow appeared in the dense forest, and gradually walked towards Going Merry, smashed the lush bushes, and a giant appeared. Advertisement. What Nami frightened was directly into Mu Feng's arms. Mu Feng knew that this guy had fought in the small garden for 100 years, and one of the captains of the original giant pirate group Brokey. If it's only a small amount, yes. Mu Feng shrugged and said. With Brokey's size, Going Merry is the size of his palm. Although Going Merry has a lot of wine on top, it is not enough to quench his thirst for Brokey. For Brokey, he doesn't care how much, as long as there is. After all, he hasn't had a drink for decades. Wow, haha. There is wine. Brokey yelled, obviously very excited. Then Brokey invited Mu Feng and the others to his place as a guest. What? It will take a year. Nami shouted. Just now Nami heard Brokey say that the record pointer on the island of Little Garden will take a year to complete the record, which is not directly scared to death. If you have to wait a year to arrive in Alabaston, everything will be too late. Mu Feng, did you know that this island needs to be recorded for a year? Nami looked at Mu Feng's calm face and couldn't help asking. Yes, I know. Mu Feng nodded and said. What should I do then? Vivi country will be delayed. Nami said anxiously. Although the time to get along is not long, Nami has already regarded Vivi as a partner. Advertisement. Don't worry, just grab one. Mu Feng waved his hand indifferently. Who is robbing? Just right. Nami wants to ask. Suddenly Blow stood up, and his expression became solemn, and said, today's duel is about to begin. After all, I ignored Mu Feng and others, picked up the axe on the side and ran away. Let's talk later. Let's join in the fun first. Mu Feng said with a smile. Nami also nodded. This was the first time she saw the giants. Of course, she was very curious about the battle between giants, and naturally wanted to see it. Then it was similar to the original plot, with Mr. 3 and Miss Golden Week appearing. Brokey and Dongli, who were in the battle, were overshadowed by these two guys. Then, Luffy naturally couldn't stand it anymore, and fought for a while. And Sanji made soy sauce all the way and even fooled Crocodile. Very lucky, and got a permanent pointer to Alabaston. Come and see, whose prey is the bigger one of us. Sanji pointed to a huge rhino at his feet, looked at Zoro, and said angrily. Are you blind? It must be mine. Zoro shouted. Nami looked at Zoro and Sanji, who were arguing again, walked over with a gloomy face, and then blasted 2 punches at the same time, and the whole world suddenly became quiet. By the way, I have something to tell you. The main reason why people who come to this island cannot leave this island is because of the existence of island-eating whales. Brokey said, however, I and Dongli desperately will help you get rid of it. You don't need to act, it's just an island-eating whale. Mu Feng laughed. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 208. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Are you sure? Brokey said, scratching his head with fingers as thick as a giant tree. Fighting on this island for 100 years, Brokey and Dongli are the two who know the horror of the island-eating whale best. Even if they don't use the secret fighting skills of the giants, they will definitely not the opponent of that island-eating whale. Don't believe me? Then you can take a look. Mu Feng smiled. At this time, Going Merry also drove to the estuary. The sea began to surge, and the island-eating whale appeared. At some point, the mammoth blade had already appeared in Mu Feng's hands. Looking at the island-eating whale that opened its huge mouth and seemed to swallow the entire island, Mu Feng looked indifferent. Raise your hand, slash it, a very simple action. And in the next moment, the island-eating whale was cut away along with the sea. Brokey and Dongli stood on the shore, already dull like a stone statue. This kind of power is more than 100 times more terrifying than the secret fighting technique of the giants that the two of them joined together hegemony. Okay. Goodbye. Mu Feng waved at the two giants and said. Going Merry, set sail again. Comma 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 comma. It's still comfortable on the sea. Mu Feng squinted, feeling the slight sea breeze blowing from the sea, his face full of comfort. Advertisement. Picking up a cup next to it, Mu Feng took a sip. Frowning, put down the cup, and shouted at the same time, Second chef. What are you doing? I want to make shortbread cookies for Vivi. Tell me if you have something. After a while, Sanji walked over and said with an unhappy expression. In a few days, everyone got acquainted with Mu Feng. Although Mu Feng is Marine Admiral, he doesn't have any of Marine Admiral's prestige, and his speech becomes more casual. Every time Mu Feng calls himself, there is nothing good, and Sanji will naturally be upset. Pointing to the cup on the tea table next to him, Mu Feng said with a look of awkwardness, Oh, Seku, you are too good at making tea. Black tea can't be made with boiling water at 100 degrees Celsius. It takes 90. Soak in hot water at about 5 degrees. Besides, can't you add a little more tea? I like to drink strong tea. Please change another cup, thank you. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Looking at the cup that Mu Feng handed over, Sanji's teeth tickled with anger. I see, I'll change it for you. In the end Sanji had to agree. Sanji didn't dare not agree, because he didn't agree last time, but he was thrown into the sea. It's not easy to pull. Admiral, come and take a look. Nami suddenly passed out. And his head is hot. Usopp suddenly shouted loudly, very anxiously. Hearing Usopp's shout, Mu Feng suddenly appeared beside Nami. I touched Nami's forehead, and his body temperature was definitely not too low. At the same time, a wood-style chakra was quietly poured into Nami's body, but the temperature did not drop. At this time, Everyone rushed over, all with a worried look. Advertisement. Nami. How is Nami? Isn't it dying? There will never be anyone else who can say this except Luffy. You're a big head. Mu Feng cursed Luffy angrily. Then he frowned and said, it's not an ordinary fever. Little Garden. Could it be that the poisonous insects in Little Garden stung? While speaking, Vivi had already measured Nami's body temperature. When seeing the measured body temperature, Vivi's face became ugly, and said, 40 degrees. This temperature is already life-threatening. Go to the doctor. I must save Nami. Luffy insisted. No way. Suddenly a very weak voice sounded. Everyone bowed their heads and saw that Nami woke up and was struggling to do it. Nami is ready. Luffy cheered. You shut up. Mu Feng was full of black lines and hit Luffy's head with a fist. I have a newspaper in my drawer. Nami said weakly. Vivi was the closest to the drawer, and took out the newspaper for a moment. Seeing the headline of the newspaper, her pupils suddenly enlarged, her hand holding the newspaper was trembling, and her forehead was full of cold sweat. Ask for flowers. Advertisement. Why? How could this happen? Such a jerk. The 300,000 soldiers in the king's army turned to the rebel army. The original situation was 600,000 soldiers from the king's army and 400,000 soldiers from the rebel army. As a result, the situation was completely reversed. What? It seems, the riot in Alabaston has officially started. This is the newspaper 3 days ago. I'm sorry, even if you know it, you can't change the speed of the ship. I didn't want you to worry about it before hiding the newspaper. Nami said apologetically. It looks like it's serious. I doubt that Luffy is pretending to understand. My illness should be just a small problem. How could it be 40 degrees? It should be because the thermometer is broken. Nami struggler tried to stand up, but was pressed by Mu Feng. Don't be aggressive, take a good rest, you must be looking for a doctor in your current situation. Otherwise, you won't even be able to reach Alabaston. Mu Feng shook his head. Big brother Mu Feng, but Vivi her country. Nami fell on Mu Feng's shoulder and sobbed. And everyone looked at Vivi. Vivi was silent, and then said for a while, everyone can let me take a boat. I really have no face to make a wayward request. Now, my country is in an unprecedented crisis. I must hurry back as soon as possible. There is no hesitation for a moment. So, I would like to ask you all to go to Alabaston at the fastest speed of this ship. After listening to Vivi's words, everyone fell silent. Everyone is a little strange. After all, Nami is so seriously ill, and Vivi is so persistent. Of course, we said yes. Nami barely forced a smile. Mu Feng could feel that Nami's body was shaking slightly. Now that everyone agrees, then, immediately go to the island where there is a doctor. Vivi's words stunned everyone, and Vivi continued to laugh and say, cure Nami's disease as soon as possible, and then set off for Alabaston. This is the fastest speed of this ship. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 209. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Looking at Vivi, Mu Feng smiled, and then said, in this case, let me temporarily leave the task of Nami Navigator to me. Mu Feng, you know how to sail? Luffy asked in surprise. No. Mu Feng answered simply and neatly. Then suddenly the conversation changed, and he said, who stipulates that you can't sail without knowing navigation skills? Everyone looked dumbfounded. Mu Feng did not explain, but suddenly jumped on the mast. The mammoth blade in his hand slashed out directly, the pale sword aura struck out, the sea surface was suddenly torn apart, and the huge waves swept to both sides due to the reaction force. The speed of going merry at Mu Feng's feet suddenly accelerated more than 10 times. Sanji, Usopp, Luffy. They didn't stand firmly, they staggered suddenly. 713. Can we still hurry like this? Sanji. So amazing. Mu Feng is so amazing. Luffy. Slow down. Slowly, I'm going to fall. Usopp. Although the weather on the Grand Line is changeable. Maybe the last second was still sunny, but the next second it turned into a tornado, a storm, and the like. But no matter the bad weather, Mu Feng will be cut off by a single blow. Tornado. Cut it directly with a single blow, and it will naturally dissipate. Storm. The soaring sword intent directly wiped out the clouds above 10,000 meters, how could there be a storm? Advertisement. Under Mu Feng's jaw-dropping navigation skills, within a few hours, Going Merry, who gave up the direction of the pointer, drove into a snowy sea. Hey, do you think anyone can stand on the sea? Zoro said with the telescope. What nonsense are you talking about, Chlorella? Sanji. Idiot, what nonsense do I have? Don't believe it, see it for yourself. Zoro. Hearing Zoro and Sanji's argument, Mu Feng frowned, then looked in the direction Zoro said, only to see a clown-like person standing on the surface of the sea. When Going Merry approached, the clown actually greeted Luffy on his own initiative. Hi, it's so cold today. As soon as the voice fell, the sea in front of Going Merry suddenly swelled. A watermelon-shaped pirate boat floated up, and then walked out a stupid-looking guy. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Mu Feng knew this guy, Wapol, the king of the Drum Kingdom. According to the plot, this guy should have escaped from the Drum Kingdom and became a pirate. Wapol said a few arrogant nonsense and wanted to jump on Going Merry. Go away. The sudden anger made Wapol frown. Asshole. Who dare to scold? As the king of the Drum Kingdom, when was he scolded like this? I wanted to get angry right away. But when Walbo raised his head and saw the person who made the noise, he was just ashamed. There is a blank in my mind. Advertisement. See. Marine Admiral, how come here? When the World Summit was held a few years ago, he met Mu Feng. White Bear Admiral, hello. A smile that was better than crying was squeezed out of Valbo's face, and he stammered when he looked at Mu Feng. When he was the king of drums, Walbo trembled his legs when he saw Mu Feng, not to mention that he was a pirate now. Didn't you hear it? I let you go. Mu Feng's voice became colder and colder. Nami is still suffering from a viral fever, and Mu Feng's mood will not be any better at the moment. It is already Mu Feng's compassion to be able to talk to Walbo a second time. Hearing Mu Feng repeating it again, Valbo gave a shock all over his body. Then he jumped onto his pirate ship at a speed completely incompatible with his body shape and fled in a hurry. Chased away Valbo, Going Merry moved on. I saw the island. Ha ha. Mu Feng, you are so amazing. Luffy shouted. I saw an island in the distance, covered with white snow, especially a few high mountains like chimneys, which looked like a fairy tale kingdom. But we don't know if anyone is on that island yet. Usopp worried. Yes. This is Vivi suddenly said. If I remember correctly, this should be the Drum Kingdom. However, I have heard rumors about this country. The king of this country is called Valbo, who is very cruel, selfish guy. It is said that all the doctors on the island were summoned by him. Therefore, apart from the palace, there are no doctors on this island. At the end, Vivi's face was sad. Ah, what about Nami? Luffy was very anxious. Advertisement. Don't worry, there are doctors on this island. Mu Feng smiled and said, also, Valbo has been driven out of this country a long time ago. Ejected. Vivi's expression was taken aback, then dimmed. You don't need to ask to know that this little Neasy must have thought of Alabastan. Okay, trust me, there will be nothing wrong with Alabastan. However, the most important thing now is to treat Nami well. Mu Feng exhorted Vivi. Soon the melee approached the port, but it seemed that the people on the island were not very friendly to everyone, even hatred. They were all pointed at by guns. Isn't that hatred? We are here to see a doctor. My companion is sick. Please help us. Vivi tried to communicate with the people here. Get out of here now. Shameful pirate. 5.4 Obviously, no matter how you say it, the people here have no intention of changing their minds. As for Mu Feng, his face was already pale. At this moment, someone shot Vivi suddenly. Mu Feng finally couldn't suppress his anger. The terrifying conqueror's haki came out, and all the residents stunned. Ah, Mu Feng, we have to find a doctor for Nami. Vivi was taken aback. Looking at all the residents who were stunned, some did not know what to do. Don't worry, I know where the doctor is. Mu Feng said lightly. Then he went back to the cabin and picked up Nami, and said, Luffy, I'll leave it to you here. I will take Nami to the doctor. After speaking, Mu Feng's figure has disappeared. Mu Feng's full speed is absolutely beyond the line of sight. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 210. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. The weight of Nami could not have any effect on Mu Feng. Soon Mu Feng rushed to the palace where Kuleha lived. Suddenly, Mu Feng stopped. There was a slight smile at the corner of his mouth, because he saw a little guy. It was a little reindeer who wanted to hide behind the door, but he seemed to have avoided it, and his whole body was exposed. Hi, hello, Chopper. Mu Feng greeted. Ah, hello. The reindeer replied subconsciously all the time. Then, he reacted and looked at Mu Feng vigilantly. You. How do you know my name? Is she sick? Chopper saw Nami lying in Mu Feng's arms. Well, I was bitten by a poisonous insect, can you take a look for her? Mu Feng pleaded. Ah me. Hearing Mu Feng's request, Chao 11ba was taken aback. Then, he nodded shyly and said, then, okay. Mu Feng walked into the castle holding Nami, although it was icy and snowy outside. However, it is full of warmth in the castle. Following Chopper, the three came to a house. Chopper opened the door and said, Dr. Kuleha, a patient is coming. Oh, someone can come up. Kuleha's voice was full of surprise. She walked out with a wine bottle in one hand, and she would never guess from her appearance that she was already 142 years old. Advertisement. Looking at Mu Feng, Kuleha only felt familiar. But he didn't care too much, and glanced at Nami again. He said, this little girl is sick. It seems that she was bitten by a poisonous insect that has been extinct 100 years ago. I do have some corresponding antibiotics here. But, why should I treat her? What can you give me? Kuleha took a sip of wine. Just look at this character, it was definitely the ship doctor of which pirate group hundreds of years ago. And Brokey and Dongli are definitely the old guys of the same era. Dr. Kurha, I think you didn't want to live under the reward order in your old age. Since you live in seclusion here, the pirates should have enough life. Mu Feng said lightly. With regard to threats, Mu Feng will not compromise at all. As for Nami's illness, it's a big deal. Mu Feng rushed back to Gemini Cape. According to Rayleigh, 20 years ago, Kuroka's was the world's most powerful doctor, so this small illness is definitely not a problem. Hearing Mu Feng's words, Kuleha's pupils shrank suddenly. Looking at Mu Feng again, his gaze was full of fierceness. Who are you? The more I look at it, the more Kuleha feels where he has seen Mu Feng. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Marine, White Bear. Mu Feng said flatly, in 4 simple words. And hearing Mu Feng's words, Kuleha was almost not scared to death. Looking at Mu Feng again, his hands trembled and the wine bottle hit the ground. Ahahaha. Since it's Marine, the old lady will naturally be healed. Kuleha said haha. To live for more than 100 years, Kuleha is absolutely personal. She can naturally tell when she can be arrogant and when she can't. But the person you saved was a pirate. Mu Feng said with a corner of his mouth. Advertisement. But Kuleha's movements froze instantly, not knowing what he should do. In my heart, I quickly scold Mu Feng for a dog blood sprinkler. Get help. Although she is a pirate, but she is my woman. Mu Feng said lightly. Although Kuleha is wondering, why is the woman of Marine Admiral the White Bear actually a pirate? But he didn't dare to ask more, and said, let her take her to bed first. Under Kurha's treatment, Nami quickly recovered his health. And Mu Feng was nestled in a room next to him, enjoying various desserts. This kind of cold weather is really suitable for staying in the bed. Then, Mu Feng fell asleep lazily, until he was awakened by a loud roar. Ah, Mu Feng, you are so cunning, you are sleeping here alone. Actually, there are desserts to eat, it's horrible. It was Luffy's voice. Yeah, we were fighting very hard just now. Usopp protested in an unprecedented way. He didn't even dare to speak in front of Mu Feng. Yan, are you sure? Which corner are you shivering in hiding? And I am not a member of your pirate group, first am Marine Admiral. Humph, if you talk to me like this, I will take you into the great undersea prison. Mu Feng yawned, then glanced at Usopp, threatening casually. Sure enough, when he heard Mu Feng's threat, Usopp was so scared that his legs were shaking. Hee Mu Feng, you woke up from sleep. Luffy smiled. And Mu Feng turned by Akugan, your sister, I was obviously woken up by you. Mu Feng, let me tell you. Just now we defeated a very hateful pirate group. And we found a very good ship doctor. Luffy said 970 dancing. Advertisement. Mu Feng scratched his head. It seems that he has slept for a whole day. Sure enough. Snow and sleep are the best match. Comma 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 comma. Leaving the Drum Kingdom, Going Merry can finally sail towards Alabaston. Fishing, fishing, fishing. Luffy kept chanting while holding a fishing rod. Then his eyes stared into dead fish eyes, as if he could catch a fish in this way. Look at it, Luffy, I want to catch a sea king. Usopp started bragging again. Luffy, Usopp, you guys are fishing, idiots. What are you doing with Karoo? Vivi originally wanted to ask Luffy what they caught. But they discovered that their feed was actually their own mounts. Then at this moment, Luffy really caught something. That's not right. It should be a personal monster caught, Mr. 2. Looking at Luffy and Mr. 2, Mufeng was helpless. He shook his head and returned to the cabin. It seemed that he was about to arrive in Alabaston soon. This way I should go, and the leisurely days are also a bit boring. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 211. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Within 2 days, Going Merry finally came to the waters of Alabaston. I even met the billions of envoys from the Baroque Work Club. In fact, to put it bluntly, it was just some high-level trash fish, which was easily solved by Luffy and Zoro. Now that we know that Mr. 2's ability is to imitate, he will most likely become one of us and mix in. Therefore, everyone tied a strip of cloth on their left arm. As long as there is a strip of cloth, I knew it was a companion. Zoro said. Hearing Zoro's suggestion, everyone nodded in agreement. This is indeed a good way. Nami tore a piece of cloth and wanted to tie Mufeng to his arm. Mufeng shook his head and refused. It's no longer necessary. Hearing what Mufeng said, Nami was taken aback. Then he said with relief. Yes, brother Mufeng was not touched by that disgusting guy just now, so there is no need to tie cloth strips. No, because I am leaving. Mufeng said with a smile. Go. Brother Mufeng, where are you going? Nami looked at Mufeng anxiously. Mufeng was a little dumb and rubbed Nami's head. Said. Khan. Don't forget, first am Marine Admiral, so I naturally want to return to Naval Headquarters. Nami's eyes are a little bleak. Yeah. Big brother Mufeng is Marine Admiral, he must be very busy with his business, and he has been with him for such a long time. I can't take too much of Mufeng's time. Everyone is also very lost, although Mufeng is Marine, but also Marine Admiral. But after getting along for so long, everyone regarded Mufeng as a partner. Advertisement. Haha. There are always moments of separation in this sea. This separation is for a better encounter next time. Mufeng smiled calmly. Hi, Luffy. Long time no see. Huh. Mufeng, you are also here. Suddenly a voice sounded. I don't know when. A young man with a cowboy hat crouched on the railing of the melee. Who else would it be if it wasn't Ace? Ace. Luffy's boss stared, his voice full of surprises. Brother Mufeng, who is he? Nami asked in a low voice. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. The same as Luffy, he is my brother, but he is older than Luffy, so he is also Luffy's brother. Mufeng said with a smile, he was very happy to see Ace. My brother has taken care of you, thank you. Ace bowed to thank Sanji, Zoro, and Usopp very politely. He knew exactly how troublesome Luffy was. Indeed, Zoro and others were unceremonious. Ace, why are you in this country? Luffy scratched his head. Didn't you come because of the rumors that you heard in the Drum Kingdom? Forget it, it's not an important thing. Anyway, I am very happy to see you. As for me, I came for something else. I'm looking at the neighborhood, so I really want to see you. Luffy, do you want to come to our Whitebeard Pirates? Of course, your partner can also come together. Ace looked at Luffy expectantly. Advertisement. I won't do it. Luffy replied simply and neatly. I knew it, I just asked casually. Ace smiled. Daddy is the strongest pirate I know, I will help him become the One Piece. Not you, Luffy, Ace said swearingly. It's okay, just a duel at that time. Luffy looked very openly. Ace, I didn't expect you to join the Whitebeard Pirates. That old guy, can you still walk? Mufeng said with a smile. Mufeng, what are you talking about? Daddy is the strongest. Ace said angrily. Is it the strongest? 5 years ago, if I were to kill I guess there is no Whitebeard pirates now. As for now, do you think Whitebeard will still be my opponent? The world's strongest. Hee hee. Mu Feng said with a smile. Hearing Mu Feng's words, Ace was a little silent. After joining the Whitebeard pirates, he also heard about the battle between Whitebeard and Mu Feng. And the old man personally admitted that although the battle ended in a draw, he was already at a disadvantage in the final stage of the battle. So in fact, he was no longer the strongest in the world at that time. In the past few years, although they didn't say it clearly, everyone in the Whitebeard Pirates team knew that the old man's body was not as good as before, and he even had to rely on healing fluids to maintain his condition. If you are fighting Mu Feng now, no. Not even fighting, everyone knows the result. It's just members of the Whitebeard pirate group, no one wants to believe it. Quote. Mu Feng, although you are my brother. But I don't allow you to say that about Daddy, even if Daddy is not the strongest. We will become stronger and help Daddy become one piece. Ace looked at Mu Feng said seriously. Advertisement. Well, I won't tell, don't tell. Mu Feng said with a shrug. Then his face was slightly solemn and said, Ace, leave the Whitebeard pirates this time. You should be chasing Blackbeard. A surprised look at Mu Feng, but thinking of Mu Feng's identity, Ace was relieved that Marine's intelligence system was spread throughout New World. Well, this guy Teach killed Sachi and violated the iron law of the ship. I will never forgive him. When it comes to Blackbeard, Ace Good Promise looks very angry. Ace, Blackbeard is not that simple. When Mu Feng just wanted to say something, he was interrupted by Ace directly. Mu Feng, I know these. But I will definitely catch this guy Teach back to my father. In addition, Mu Feng, please, don't interfere with this. One thing, is it okay? At the end of the day, Ace's tone was already imploring. If Mu Feng shoots, then he can definitely catch or kill Blackbeard. In this way, there is no way to correct his mistakes, and Ace is naturally unwilling. Whatever you want, don't blame me if you die. Mu Feng is helpless, what can he do with such a wayward brother? I can only wait for something to happen before wiping his ass. By the way, I saw Sabo a few days ago. Mu Feng said suddenly. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 212. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Sabo. Did you really see Sabo? After you told me the last time, I have been in New World to inquire about Sabo, but there is no news. Ace hurriedly said. Sabo. Is Sabo still alive? Luffy also reacted. Looking at Mu Feng, his expression was even more anxious than Ace. He joined the Revolutionary Army and is usually active in the Red Soil continent. Of course, it is difficult to hear from him on the sea. Last time I was in Logue Town, I met him. Mu Feng explained. Great. Sabo is still alive. Let's celebrate with a party. Sanji. I want to eat cantaloupe and ham. Luffy exclaimed, looking very happy. For Luffy, Sabo is definitely not less important than Ace, Mu Feng, and the Straw Hat Pirates. How can you not be excited to hear that Sabo is still alive? The banquet lasted all afternoon, and Going Merry was full of laughter. In the evening, Ace left. Before leaving, he gave Luffy a piece of his own life paper. Then Mu Feng also left, and a group of Straw Hats landed in Alabaston. 893. God level mall refreshed, please check host. Mu Feng, who was rushing back to naval headquarters, suddenly heard the sound of the system in his mind. Without any joy on his face, Mu Feng twitched the corners of his mouth. Since the God level mall was refreshed 5 years ago, Bengyu has been refreshed once a month, and the God level mall has been refreshed no less than 60 times. Advertisement. However, it seemed that Bengyu had exhausted all of his luck. Since that time, I haven't seen any good things. Like fire style great fireball technique, Hado on number 55, bamboo dragonfly. These are all considered good. What's more, there are the meat buns at Qingfeng Baozi shop, the posters of Miss Island Country, have already subverted Mu Feng's 3 views. If it is not often refreshed, the super experience scroll is still somewhat useful for the current Mu Feng. He didn't even bother to click on the God level mall again. God level mall. Open black lens bracket elementary close black lens bracket. Hosts existing redemption points. 89,760 points. Super Experience Scroll, limited to 5 purchases, price 100 coupons. Permanently degenerate Apple, price 270 points. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. A machine that can automatically dig noses, price 15 coupons. Fairy Bean, limited to 3 purchases, price 1000 coupons. Brand new fruit knife, price 1 point coupon. Seeing the things refreshed in the God level mall, Mu Feng's eyes lit up. There are 5 super experience scrolls. Now, maybe armament hockey can break the boundaries again and reach the level of LVMAX14. You know, Mu Feng doesn't have any ability to reach the level of LVMAX14. Advertisement. And there are fairy beans, which is a good thing. No matter how severe the injury, or exhaustion of physical strength, a grain of fairy beans will directly restore the perfect state. Although 1000 coupons is a bit too much, but this thing is a life-saving thing, not to mention that Mu Feng is now rich in money and is limited to 3. Then come 3. As for the machine that can automatically dig nose, the permanently deformed apple, it was completely ignored by Mu Feng. Now that the God level mall has refreshed anything, he has no surprise. After getting good things, Mu Feng is naturally in a good mood. Pollen. 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 The voice of the telephone worm rang. Mu Feng took out the telephone worm. It was Rayleigh. Mu Feng was slightly surprised. In the past 2 years, the Hunters Guild has gradually grown and strengthened. Coupled with the growth of Analu's strength, Rayleigh has been in a state of BBAH retreat in the Hunters Guild, so rarely takes the initiative to interact with Mu Feng. What happened to the contact? Connecting to the phone worm, Mu Feng's voice changed to that of Senju Hashirama, saying, "Well, Senior Rayleigh is pretty empty today, what's the matter? Boy Hashirama, I just received a task here, I don't know if you are not interested." Rayleigh's angry voice rang from the phone worm. "Oh, what task? Senior Rayleigh is so important to you?" Mu Feng was curious. New World, Kazuki Oden, the monarch of the country of Wano, has released a mission. The generals in their country rebelled against him and united with Kaido, intending to plot the entire Wano country, so Kazuki Oden released a mission, hoping for the hunter the guild can save the country of peace. As for the mission reward, it is a rubbing copy of the historical text of the 2 road signs. Rayleigh said. Wano country. Kazuki Oden. Kaido attacked Wano country. Well, shouldn't this be something that happened almost 2 years after the end of the war on top? Why is it so early? Advertisement. But think about it, there are more and more artificial devil fruits provided by Doflamingo to Kaido. If he does not find a place to hide his sight, if he is known by the world government, it will fall short. It is estimated that Kaido has already taken care of it. The country of peace. After all, Kazuki Oden of Wano Kuni knows Ravdru's secret, and Kaido covets the ultimate secret of this world more than anyone. But Kazuki Oden's strength is very strong, plus those 2 Fur Clan guys. If you choose to attack, the 3 plagues have gone to Beast's pirates, the second of them. Maybe it will be even more detrimental, so Kaido will dormant for so long. Now suddenly, 80% of the trouble is because the general of Wano country rebelled. Country of harmony. Mu Feng's eyes flickered, and he didn't know what he thought of. Suddenly smiled and said, "No problem, I'll take this task. Then I will thank you for that guy Mida first." Rayleigh laughed. Mu Feng was taken aback, and then remembered that Kazuki Oden was once a member of the Roger Pirates, and the relationship with Rayleigh, the deputy captain, was certainly not bad. It is estimated that Rayleigh will contact him directly, it must be because of this. But even without Rayleigh, Mu Feng will accept this mission. Of course, not because of the rubbings of the 2 historical texts of the road signs. For Lavdru, Mu Feng has no interest at all. The reason why Mu Feng took this task was mainly because of a resentment in his previous life. Momosuke must die. Ma Dan, Momosuke, the bear child, not dying is not enough for civilians to be angry. But after looking at the God level mall, Mu Feng found a better way to punish. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 213. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. System. Buy permanently degenerate apples. Not to mention the 270 points redemption voucher. Even if it is 2,700 points to redeem points, Mu Feng will never hesitate. The permanently changed apple has been distributed to the host space backpack. Please check it carefully. With a thought, a red and orange apple larger than a fist appeared in his hand, exuding the unique aroma of fruit. Mu Feng, for example, could not help but want to take a bite. But as soon as this idea came up, Mu Feng couldn't help but shudder, thinking about the consequences. Even if he gave Mu Feng 100,000 redemption points, he would definitely not eat. I didn't expect this thing to have such a tempting fruity fragrance. You don't have to find a way to lure Momonosuke to the bear child. Put the apple on the table and he will definitely run over and hold it. Just nibble. But I'm not too much to calculate a child like this. Mu Feng murmured, but thinking about what Momonosuke would do in the future, it's not a pity to die. Comma 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 comma. New World, and the country. As a former member of the Roger Pirates, the monarch of the Kingdom of Swordsmen, Kazuki Oden, is definitely the top swordsman. And his attainments on hockey are absolutely extraordinary. But compared to Kaido, this monster, Kazuki Oden is still a bit close. After fighting for 2 days, he is already scarred and it is only a matter of time before he loses. Advertisement. Damn. If it wasn't for the general that guy to rebel. With the strength of the country of mine and the country, no matter how strong Kaido is, he would not dare to plot the country of mine and the country. Kazuki Oden secretly said in his heart. Yu Guang looked at the only remaining natural disasters, with beasts pirates and the 2 retainers of the Cat Viper, Duke Yamato, Inuarashi, who was at war with General Wano Kunihara. It was already covered with injuries, and I don't know how long it could last. Moonlight Maida, tell me the secret of Lovedrew, I can leave you a way to survive. Otherwise, not only you, but also your son, I will kill together. Kaido threatened. The offense on his hands is also more arrogant, putting pressure on Kazuki Oden. A delusion. I will never tell you. Kazuki Oden yelled. Whether out of reason or anger, Kazuki Oden couldn't tell Kaido the secret of Ravdru, that is the ultimate secret of this world. Even if he tells Kaido, and Kaido will keep his word and let him go, but then he will definitely endure the anger from the world government, he will also die, and will also hurt his old friends. After all, one of the remnants of the Roger Pirates, so being able to live in this world peacefully and without being disturbed by Marine is because of the tacit understanding formed with the world government in secret. And once he tells the secret of Ravdru, it breaks this tacit understanding. World government is far more terrifying than Kaido. Kazuki Oden can still tell the difference. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. I don't know if Kinemon took Momonosuke to escape from Wano country. Kazuki Oden couldn't help but think of this distraction, and Kaido fisted the long knife in his hand. It was already a difficult resistance situation, and coupled with the loss of his weapon, Kazuki Oden was no longer Kaido's opponent, he was directly spitting blood with a punch from Kaido. He fell heavily to the ground, and the armament haki covered on his body disappeared. Without armament haki's protection, Kaido could kill Kazuki Oden without even using his full strength. If you don't say anything, then die for me. Kaido's eyes were fierce, and he lifted his foot and kicked Kazuki Oden's head straight. Advertisement. Boss. Boss. The Cat Viper, the old Lord Yamato Inuarashi, although these 2 guys are very anxious, they have nothing to do. Both of them are also going to be killed. Wood-style Hinamu. The thick wooden pillars fell from the sky. After hitting Kaido and flying Kaido directly, Kazuki Oden escaped. Although he flew hundreds of meters away, even the ground was cracked by Kaido. But this kind of attack did not cause any harm to Kaido at all, but Kaido stood up without saying a word, his face gloomy as if it was about to drip. Using wood as a means of offense, Kaido knows who is coming, without thinking about it. Senju. Hashirama. The voice came from Kaido's throat. Find flowers 0. Why? Tell me what's the matter? Mu Feng asked with a smile. What are you doing here? Kaido stared at Mu Feng, his eyes flushed. If you say who is the person he most wants to kill. The first one is definitely the white bear, and the second one is Senju Hashirama. If he knows that Bai Xiong and Senju Hashirama are both Mu Feng, I really don't know if Kaido will be dazzled by anger, and then he will kill Mu Feng desperately. This is not your home, you can come, why can't I come? Mu Feng said. Are you sure you want to intervene in the affairs of Wano country? Kaido said solemnly. Advertisement. I don't want to intervene. Mu Feng said with a look of embarrassment. However, who asked me to take over this task? Or, let's make a discussion, this time you go back first. Wait, next time, How about invading and occupying the country again? Mu Feng's eyes lit up. Dot 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 dot. What if next time, Kazuki Oden releases a mission to you? Kaido asked in a deep voice. Although he wanted to eat Senju Hashirama raw, he still wanted to suppress his anger. Then you go back again. Mu Feng took it for granted. You, Senju Hashirama, Kaido growled. At this time, even an idiot knows that he has been tricked, not to mention Kaido is not an idiot. Why do you call me? If you have something to say, don't always call my name. Mu Feng said impatiently. I want you to die. Senju Hashirama. Kaido roared angrily, and at the same time banged his fist towards Mu Feng. However, Kaido's fist was blocked by a wooden wall. Now Mu Feng's immortal body and wood style have reached the level of LVMAX-12, which is many times more tyrannical than 6 years ago. With another punch, Kaido smashed the wooden wall. After all, it was just the simplest wood-style wooden wall. Kaido could smash it with 2 full punches. Scourge. General. Kaido shouted at the same time. Abandon the 2 hairy monsters and kill Senju Hashirama first. Kaido knows very well that he alone does not have the strength to kill Senju Hashirama. Yes, it can be considered self-knowledge. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 214. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. The natural disaster did not hesitate, and immediately gave up the boss of the cat viper who was fighting with it. The general with a gloomy expression was a little unwilling, knowing that he could kill Duke Inuran soon, but in the end he gave up on killing Duke Inuran and supported Kaido. Because he knows very well that if Kaido is defeated, he will not end well. Kaido, natural disasters, and the generals surrounded Mu Feng with the momentum of Zheng's horns, and his muscles were tight, and they could go all out at any time to burst out the strongest combat power. The reason why Wano country can stand in the New World for 800 years is immortal, and neither pirates nor marine ships can enter the country, mainly because he is strong enough. Samurai Kendo is practiced throughout the country, and it can be said that the folk customs are extremely strong. In the country of Haji, in addition to the Guangyu clan who is the name of the 757 attack, the strongest swordsman in the country is called a general. Even Kazuki Oden is inferior to the general. That's why the general's rebellion had such a big impact on Wano country. Natural disasters are undoubtedly the second person under Beast's pirates Kaido. It is also the only Beast's pirates who is not capable of zone. The devil fruit he eats is Paramesh's airflow fruit, which can control various airflows and is very abnormal. Well, is it great if there are many people? Come on, try it. Mu Feng chuckled. However, Kaido, natural disasters, and generals, no matter who they were, did not act rashly. The general looked at Kaido and said solemnly, Kaido, the agreement between you and I did not say that I would help you deal with anyone except Kazuki Oden. If you let me deal with Senju Hashirama, it's not impossible. But I have to double the agreed remuneration. General, are you threatening me? Kaido's voice grew darker, staring at the general coldly and said, and, do you think you will end up if I fail? Advertisement. Kaido doesn't care about the threat of the generals. As the 4 emperors, when did he lower his head? In addition to the Chambordian Islands, he had once faced a white bear. After all, the white bear killed Charlotte Linlin in front of him, a powerhouse of his level. Humph. The general snorted coldly and stopped speaking. Because he was very clear, Kaido was right. If Kaido retreats this time, the worst consequences will not be Beast's pirates, but his general. Not only did he lose his status, but it was still a question mark whether he could survive under the chase of the warrior army of Wano country. Why don't you continue? The story of the dog biting the dog has just begun, how come this is over? Mu Feng looked at the play with a cheerful expression. Damn it! Senju Hashirama! You damn it! Kaido growled frantically. General, kill Senju Hashirama with all my strength. Originally, I promised to give you 30% of the territory of Wano country. After that, Kaido took the lead in attacking Mu Feng. It is obviously impossible not to feed the horses, but also want the horses to run fast. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Kaido is very clear that the cooperative relationship between him and the general is based on interests. Otherwise, if Senju Hashirama wants to escape, the general will never do his best. As for Kaido, he wanted to take this opportunity to kill Senju Hashirama. Sure enough, hearing Kaido's words, the general's eyes lit up. Said loudly, Kaido, don't worry, under the siege of the three of us, I don't believe anyone can escape except the white bear. The general's tone was full of confidence. Senju Hashirama's most prominent record in the past was only a draw with Kaido and Charlotte Linlin, although it was a 4 emperors level strength. But now he has to face not only Kaido, the 4 emperors, but also 2 quasi-4 emperors, generals and natural disasters. If they are replaced by Whitebeard, they will also lose. Advertisement. Holding a black long knife, the sword light suddenly appeared on the knife, and the general raided Mu Feng. Diamond power. Immobile. Chakra-infused Mu Feng's arms. Clenched fists with both hands, outrageously. With the double fists from Kaido. Bang. There was a huge bang. Fists collided. The air wave that erupted rolled up the surrounding boulders. Kaido took a few steps back, but Mu Feng's feet didn't move at all. The strength of the two is judged. Not bad, you have grown much better than you were a few years ago. Mu Feng said with a smile. But when I heard this, Kaido's ears were extremely harsh. More than 5 years ago, when Beast's pirates attacked Red Hair pirates, Kaido fought Senju Hashirama once, and they were equally powerful. Now that 5 years have passed, Kaido believes that his strength has doubled. But I didn't expect that Senju Hashirama's power increased even more terribly. Although he didn't try his best, but the hand that he angered just now, 80% of the strength is still there. Actually, he couldn't even shake Senju Hashirama. Thinking of this, Kaido's heart sank inexplicably, and he suddenly had a bad feeling. Advertisement. At this moment, the general had already attacked Mu Feng. The dark blade seemed to absorb all the light. The long knife the general held was one of the 12 great knives, and it was the famous demon sword Murata. The ghostly sword can bring misfortune to the knife bearer. But the demon sword of the Muramasa line will confuse the mind of the knife holder and make it evil. The reason why the general rebelled against Kazuki Oden has a lot to do with this knife. Take it to me. A red light flashed in the general's eyes. Demon sword 0.3 Murata's blade pointed directly at Mu Feng's heart. Obviously he wanted to kill with one sword. And just between the electric light and flint, a wooden shield like a grimace mask suddenly appeared. Wood-style wood expulsion jutsu. Demon Blade Village Jung failed to pierce even half of the tip of the sword into wood expulsion. Wood-style Shen Luo Wanxiang. As Mu Feng's voice fell, countless roots suddenly emerged from the ground under the general's feet and bound to him. Damn it. There is no way, the general can only give up and continue to attack Mu Feng. Swinging a knife and cutting off the roots that are entangled towards him, he dare not let these roots restrain him. Otherwise, think about the fist that even Kaido can smash back just now, if it hits himself. Air flow. Infinite air knife. Suddenly, another roar sounded. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 215. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. It's the natural disaster guy who manipulates the airflow and turns into countless sharp air knives. Pouring madly from the sky to Mu Feng standing on the ground. I saw the first air knife, facing Mu Feng, and fell immediately. With a bullet at his feet, Mu Feng dodged aside. And the position where I stood just now is already a few hundred meters long and tens of meters wide, and there is no deep gully at the bottom. It was cut out by this air knife. It's pretty awesome. Mu Feng sighed. And at this moment, countless air knives fell in the sky, centering on the point where Mu Feng was standing at the moment, and covering all the area of several thousand meters around. And Mu Feng was directly buried by these countless air knives. Boss. My attack hit him. Seeing this, the natural disaster looked happy and said loudly. The air knife formed by the natural disaster controls the airflow, but even armament hockey can be easily torn apart. Not to mention that Senju Hashirama just didn't use armament hockey from the perspective of the natural disaster. 11. Even if it is a 4 emperors level powerhouse of Senju Hashirama, but if he is hit by countless air knives like himself, even if he does not die, he will definitely peel off his skin. Quinn. Be careful. Senju Hashirama is behind you. Looking at the natural disaster, Kaido shouted with embarrassment, whose name was Quinn. What? The natural disaster was taken aback. Looking at the place where Mu Feng just stood, the whole area seems to have been plowed over by a super huge plow, but where is there any trace of Senju Hashirama? You said. Who did you hit? Advertisement. The voice of abuse suddenly sounded from behind the natural disaster. The natural disaster was suddenly shocked, but the response was also very quick. He didn't even turn his head, manipulating the airflow to condense into a huge tiger head of hundreds of meters, and blasted behind him suddenly. Wood-style wooden hammer. The huge mountain-like wooden hammer fell down and hit the tiger's head. There is no second possibility at all. The tiger's head was directly smashed to pieces, it should be said that it became a stream of air again and dissipated. And at this instant, Mu Feng has appeared before the natural disaster. Diamond power. Immobile. Mu Feng's fist violently attacked, blasting the natural disaster's chest. With just one click, the natural disaster's breastbone was shattered. If it weren't for the last time, the natural disaster covered him with armament hockey, and with just this punch, Mu Feng would be able to punch him through. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Although he was not dead, the natural disasters were not much better at this time. The breastbone is shattered, unless there is a doctor of the level of Kuroka's, or just wait for death. And now, Kaido doesn't have time to find him a doctor. Wait a minute, Senju Hashirama hits him with any more powerful wood style, he will definitely die. Obviously, the natural disasters are also very aware of this point, and there is a fierce light in his eyes. Then he became crazy and shouted, "Boss! I'm here to restrain him, you attack. But I may not be able to restrain him for too long." When the words of the natural disaster fell, Mu Feng suddenly noticed that the surrounding air suddenly became viscous, as if he was in the water, and even breathing became a little difficult. Especially the limbs and neck, it was like being imprisoned to death. Diamond power. Immobile. Wood style's chakra perfuses the whole body. Advertisement. Mu Feng exerted 7 points of strength, but found that he still couldn't break free from the shackles of the airflow. After all, the airflow is an invisible and intangible thing, and naturally the most difficult to break free. Boss, hurry up. I can't hold on anymore. The natural disaster said with difficulty. Can it not stand with just 7 points of strength? That being the case, if you use a lot of strength, you should be able to easily break free of the restraint of the airflow. Just as Mu Feng was about to break free from the restraint of the airflow, suddenly, he felt that the position of his shoulders was painful, and he turned his head slightly to see that it was Kaido. I don't know when he appeared behind him, his muscular arms tightened his arms tightly, making Mu Feng unable to exert any force. General, quick, leave me alone, kill Senju Hashirama. Kaido roared. Seeing Kaido's behavior, Mu Feng was taken aback, slightly thoughtful, but a smile was provoked at the corner of his mouth, but Kaido was a good calculation. Relying on his immortality, but intending to replace his life with his own injury, it is really decisive. But Kaido, your abacus is wrong. Hearing Kaido's roar, the general was taken aback, but he also understood Kaido's intentions. Kaido. Then I am offended. The general said. Hurry up. Where is so much nonsense? Kaido roared. Hey. The general had a grinning smile on his face. The demon sword village in his hand is facing right across, the blade is as pitch black as ink, as if it is a black hole, it absorbs all the sunlight shining on the blade, without reflecting a cold light. Good knife, it will be mine from now on. Mu Feng said suddenly. The general was slightly stunned, and then sneered. Those who are dying, go to hell and dream. Advertisement. Demon Blade Village Masaru. 1-hit kills. Like a black lightning. 510. Holding the demon sword, the general of Kuramasa stabs Mu Feng directly into the chest. I said it was mine, don't you believe it? Mu Feng said lightly. At the same time, his eyes narrowed. Endless sword intent poured out from the pupils. LVMAX-13 swordsmanship is a realm above the supreme swordsman. It is an application of sword intent. There is no longer any need to stick to the weapon in hand. Of course, if there is a handy weapon, it will naturally be able to exert 100% of the power of sword intent, but even without using weapons, Mu Feng can also exert 7% of sword intent, the power of 10 comes. It is more than enough to deal with the supreme swordsman of Eagle Eye. What's more, it is a great swordsman like General Wano Kuni. The sharp sword intent pierced the general's eyes from Mu Feng's pupils. Suddenly, the general was stunned in place, his hand loosened, and the demon sword village was pierced on the ground. You actually broke through the great swordsman. Before the general's words were finished, his body could no longer withstand Mu Feng's sword intent, and it exploded and turned into a cloud of blood. Whether it's Kaido or natural disasters, they are all dumbfounded. Both of them, neither of them knows how the general died. It's so weird. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 216. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Although the natural disasters and Kaido are very strong, one is the Admiral Pinnacle, the quasi-Four Emperors strong, and the other is the Four Emperors level strong, but neither of them is a swordsman, so naturally they can't see why. If you change to a swordsman, even if it's just a swordsman level swordsman, you can see some clues. So at this moment, lying on the ground far away, Kazuki Oden, who has just fought Kaido, is the most shocking one. Only he understands how powerful Mu Feng is. No. It's more than awesome, it can only be described as horror. Swordsmanship can actually reach this state. Taking advantage of the natural disaster and Kaido's distraction, Mu Feng shook suddenly and broke free of the two of them. He walked a few steps to the front of Yaodao village, stretched out his hand to hold the hilt of Kuramasa's sword, and pulled Kuramasa up. In just an instant, Mu Feng felt a very imperceptible evil, and tried to invade his body through the hilt of the demon sword Kunjung. Mu Feng raised the corner of his mouth slightly. Is this the reason why you are named Yaodao? However, I am not the trash that I held before. To compare, is your evil purer, or my sword intent is more domineering? Mu Feng's gaze condensed, and the sword intent of his whole body was poured into the demon sword village. Just as soon as he touched it, Mu Feng's sword intent shattered all the evil in the middle of the demon sword village, and the village seemed to be a little different from just now. Although the blade was still pitch black, it was a kind of ebony when held in the hands of the general. The darkness. The current pitch black is a very pure pitch black. Advertisement. At this moment, Muramasa, the evil that resided in his sword has all been eliminated by Mu Feng, and it may be inappropriate to call it a monster sword. At this time, two characters appeared in the position of the blade closest to the hilt, the magic method. Miave Kunjung. This is the original name of Kunjung. It's just because he didn't know when he was infected with evil, that's why he was called Demon Sword Murata. Now with the help of Mu Feng's sword intent, it has finally returned to its original form. Buzzing. There was a buzzing sound from the blade. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. It seems to be venting his joy. Are you happy too? Well, you will be my partner in the future. I want to cut off all the enemies in front of me. Mu Feng said softly with a smile. There was a buzzing sound from the blade again, which seemed to be responding to Mu Feng. Didn't I tell you? This knife will be mine in the future. Now, I should believe it. Mu Feng murmured, as if talking to the dead general. Mu Feng raised the Kuramasa in his hand, without any signs, cut it out with a single knife. The pitch black blade, after being slashed by Muramasa, turned into pitch black, but it was not only not weak, but even stronger than the slash that was slashed by the mammoth blade. Advertisement. The earth was cut open directly, stretching thousands of meters away, and even cutting off the entire sea. The natural disasters were also very, coincidentally, directly obliterated by Mu Feng's sword intent. Queen. Kaido shouted angrily. With overwhelming hatred in his eyes, if his eyes could kill people, then Mu Feng would definitely have died no fewer than 1,000,000 times. If Kaido hated the white bear the most before, now Kaido hates Senju Hashirama the most. Natural disasters and wind disasters, his two strongest members, Admiral, died directly in the hands of Senju Hashirama. How could Kaido not hate him? All three calamities were lost. The strength of Beast's pirates was the same as being cut in half. Kaido rushed towards Mu Feng like a mad, and the muscles of his arms suddenly expanded. And Mu Feng raised his hand and slashed towards Kaido. The pitch black sword air mixed with the sword intent, directly split Kaido's chest, revealing abrupt ribs, even leaving deep marks on the bones. Seeing this scene, Mu Feng couldn't help being speechless. Kaido's body was really abnormal. Although I did not do my best in the slash just now, even though it was a mountain of thousands of feet, the slash just now could definitely cut off the mountain, but such a slash on Kaido actually only caused serious injuries. I am afraid that I can only use my full strength. The swordsmanship of LVMAX-13 can kill Kaido. Moreover, this is still based on the premise that Kaido does not run away. Of course, if you want to, Kaido can't escape from Mufeng at all. Originally, when Mufeng's slash broke Kaido's chest, Kaido didn't take it seriously. But after a few seconds passed, Kaido's face became a little panicked. Because he found that the wound on his chest did not close at all. Advertisement. Not only that, there seems to be a kind of energy remaining on the wound. This energy continues to damage my body, like a bone-attached poison. There is no way to get rid of it. This energy is exactly Mu Feng's sword intent. The days and a half months will not disappear at all. Looking at Mu Feng, Kaido turned his head and ran. Because he has a sudden feeling. If he doesn't leave here quickly, he will really die. Kaido has never felt this way. Although Kaido is not afraid of death and often seeks death, Kaido does not really want to die. He hasn't started a top war in the world. Otherwise, if Kaido really wants to die after eating dozens of devil fruit, he didn't believe that he didn't explode and died. Looking at Kaido who ran away, Mu Feng's killing intent flashed in his eyes, but eventually disappeared. To kill Kaido, the ability of wood style alone is not enough. And if you use your swordsmanship with all your strength, it's easy to be guessed of your identity, but now, it's not the time to reveal your identity. But it's coming soon. Kaido, let you live like a bereaved dog for a while. Finally, he glanced at the direction Kaido was escaping, and put the village in the space backpack. Although Mu Feng liked the knife very much, he still couldn't use it ceremoniously. Otherwise, wouldn't it be equivalent to exposing his identity? Mu Feng is not stupid. Clapping his hands, Mu Feng walked towards Kazuki Oden, and the next is the highlight. Quote. Hello, Daming Guangyu, I am Senju Hashirama. Mu Feng said. Long heard about the name, the vice president of the Hunter Guild Senju Hashirama, the Wood Emperor. Fight 2 quasi-4 emperors and 4 emperors Kaido alone, behead the natural disasters, the generals of the country, and make Kaido flee. I am afraid that the strength is not inferior to the marine white bear. Kazuki Oden complimented. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 217. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Perhaps. Mu Feng said indifferently. What does he care about? Senju Hashirama and Bai Shang are both him. What is the meaning of comparing himself with himself? Looking at the expression on Senju Hashirama's face, Kazuki Oden can easily tell that he really doesn't care about comparing him with a white bear. Kazuki Oden didn't understand, for a strong person, isn't the title of the world's #1 dream of. Kazuki Oden couldn't help but think of Whitebeard and Roger. Once the title of the strongest in the sea, the two of them didn't care too much. Is this the tolerance that the world's strongest should have? Kazuki Oden couldn't help but think secretly. Looking at Senju Hashirama, I couldn't help but feel even more unfathomable. If Kazuki Oden just compared Senju Hashirama with the white bear, just a polite remark. But now, just based on his tolerance, Kazuki Oden feels that he can definitely be compared with the white bear. If Mu Feng were to let Mu Feng know what Kazuki Oden was thinking at the moment, he would probably only say the last sentence. It really is invisible pretense, the most deadly. Daming Guangyu, there is no big loss in the country of Haji. Mu Feng asked. Advertisement. Of course, you can't ask Momomosuke where the bear kid is, otherwise, it arouses Kazuki Oden's vigilance. How can he lure the bear kid to be fooled? The goal of Kaido and the general is only to get rid of me. After this, they still want to continue to control the country of Wano, and because of this, the country of Wano is not too damaged. Kazuki Oden shook his head and said, see Mu Feng right? Kazuki Oden couldn't help but feel more favored by the concern of Kazuki Oden. Oh. Mu Feng nodded, looking like he was grateful for the country of Haji. After a pause, Mu Feng pretended to be very ordinary and asked, what about your wife and children? It should be safe too. Mu Feng finally revealed his intentions. But Moonlight Maida didn't know it, and only thought it was Senju Hashirama's positive inquiry. And he also wanted to get closer to Mu Feng, so he didn't have any concealment. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. I have a son named Momosuke. Before the war with Kaido, I asked my retainers to take him out of the country. Kazuki Oden said. As that's so, I think it's better to call them back soon. Kaido has just left. If he knows this news, he will definitely give birth to some thoughts. Mu Feng said. Hearing what Mu Feng said, Kazuki Oden became nervous in an instant. He said hurriedly, "Yes, yes. Thank you Senju brothers for reminding me of this. I will ask Kinway gatekeeper Momonosuke to bring back." As he said, he took out a phone worm from his sleeve. Advertisement. Although Wano country is a closed country, it is aimed at the people. For the name Kazuki Oden, it is just a joke. Nishinoman. It's me, Kazuki Oden. Haven't you and Momonosuke escaped from the country of Wano? That's right. Now take Momonosuke and come back quickly. The general is dead, Kaido escapes, and the crisis of the kingdom is solved. Kazuki Oden said. In the end, Kazuki Oden gave a few words that Mufeng didn't understand at all. It should be a code word between the two people. Otherwise, if he was killed by Kaido this time, Kaido took the phone bug and asked someone to imitate Kazuki Oden's voice, and he would be able to call Kinemon and Momonosuke back. It didn't make much sense for Kinemon to escape with Momonosuke. Brother Senju, thanks to you this time, Kazukuni solved this crisis. Even if you are a few minutes late, Brother Senju. Maybe I will be dead. So, Brother Senju, you must be in Kazukuni. Stay a few more days and let me have a dinner to thank you. Kazuki Oden said sincerely. In fact, Mufeng had been here for a while before the shot. It's just that you haven't made any shots. How can you show your own importance when you don't make any shots before the most critical juncture? Then, okay. Mufeng looked awkwardly warm. Said, it just so happens that I have long wanted to know about the country of Wano. I heard that it is because of the national policy of the country of Wano. Your country retains a lot of ancient styles. I am very curious about this. Brothers Senju laughed. Kazuki Oden said with a wry smile on his face. Because we Guangyu clan have the ability to interpret historical texts. Therefore, we have been jealous of the world government, so we can only keep closed. Otherwise, I am afraid. Our country of Haji, like O'Hara in the West Sea 20 years ago, suffered the order to kill demons. Fortunately, the place where Wano country is located is New World, where the world government has been beyond reach. In addition, everyone in Wano country can practice swordsmanship, which is considered to have some strength. If the world government wants to launch a demon-killing order against the country of peace, at least it has to vacate the naval headquarters. Therefore, the country of Wano has survived to this day, but Marine now has a white bear, and I am afraid that after Wano, saying so much makes the Senju brothers laugh, let alone this. Here, since the Senju brothers are interested, I will take the Senju brothers to visit Wano country in the past few days. Quote. Well, then there is the name Lao Guangyu. Mufeng nodded and said. Advertisement. What kind of name does Senju brothers call me? You know, I'm the same age as the old guy Rayleigh. If the Senju brothers don't dislike me, just call me Brother Guangyu. Kazuki Oden said. Then the next few days, Brother Guangyu will bother. Mufeng said. You are all Senju brothers. Senju brothers called for a long time, what else can I say? Brother Senju is polite. Kazuki Oden laughed loudly. This guy can beat snakes and sticks. Just now he was the Senju brother, and he became Senju's brother. Comma 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 comma. In 3 days, under the warm reception of Kazuki Oden, Mufeng also got to know the country of Wano. It is really similar to the island country in the previous life, and there is even a female body. Kazuki Oden's personality is pretty good. Although a bit lustful, he is bold and very friendly. Mufeng can see that this is not what he disguised. Think about it, too, the guy who can recruit both Whitebeard and Roger on the boat is definitely quite charismatic. On this day, Mufeng was tasting tea and talking with Kazuki Oden. Suddenly a guy with a Chinese character face in a black and orange kimono walked in, with a samurai dress around him, with shaved hair on top of his head, and a little kid with a bun. This little kid is Momosuke, and it is the biggest purpose of Mufeng's coming to the country of peace. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 218. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Seeing Momonosuke, Kazuki Oden was obviously happy. However, Kazuki Oden is also a very good monarch. He ignored Momonosuke. Instead, he looked at Jinwaiman and said, Nishuki Oden, guarding Momonosuke all the way, it's really hard for you. I've got people to help you. You are ready. You can eat and dress up first. Let's talk about something tomorrow. Yes, Lord Guangzuki. Kinwaiman replied, and then stepped back. My father, Momonosuke said in a low voice, gives a weak and simple appearance. We are not weak or not, but Mu Feng knows very well that this bear child is definitely not innocent, at least 100 times more lustful than himself. Momonosuke. Didn't I tell you? As a boy, you must speak loudly, have confidence, and don't be stubborn, like a girl. In front of Momonosuke, Kazuki Oden had a look. Yan father's appearance. Then he looked at Mu Feng and said with a smile, Brother Senju, I just made you laugh. Momonosuke has been a little cowardly since he was a child. Hee, the child is still young, don't care about Brother Guangyu. Mu Feng said with a smile. But in his heart, Mu Feng secretly said, if this is the case, wait a moment and turn Momonosuke into a girl, so you don't need to care about this kind of thing in the future. After all, it's normal for girls to tweak a little. Oh, Brother Guangyu, I'm helping you. Advertisement. Momonosuke, this is Uncle Senju Hashirama. It's okay to call it uncle. Also, it was Uncle Senju Hashirama who saved his father and saved Wano country. Remember, Uncle Senju Hashirama is our Guangyu clan and the whole Wano country. My benefactor. Kazuki Oden looked at Momonosuke with a serious expression. Brother Guangyu doesn't need to be like that. Mu Feng said hurriedly. But Kazuki Oden shook his head and said, Brother Senju, you saved my life. It is also equivalent to saving Momonosuke's life. If I am really killed, under the chase of Kaido and the general, Momonosuke sooner or later, I will die. I have to let him understand this. From now on, if the Senju brothers have any problems, just speak up. No matter how difficult it is, Kazuki Oden will help you do it for your brother. No matter how hard it is, it will not be postponed. Mu Feng could see that Kazuki Oden's expression did not appear to be false. Hello, Uncle Senju Hashirama. Momonosuke said timidly, hiding behind Kazuki Oden. Don't know why, he always feels that the uncle in front of him is very dangerous. Momonosuke, how are you? Mu Feng bent down and squeezed Momonosuke's face vigorously. Under this pollution-free face, there is an evil heart. Straightening up, Mu Feng looked at Kazuki Oden and said, Brother Guangyu, I have disturbed you for a few days. I should also go as soon as possible. The Hunter Guild has a lot of things to deal with. Brother Guangyu, don't persuade you anymore. Me, I have already packed everything. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. With that, Mu Feng pointed to a bulging package on the side. The package contains something unique to Wano country. Of course, these are just disguise one of the big apples that are red and exudes an attractive fruity fragrance. Brother Senju, are you leaving? Are you so anxious? Kazuki Oden was taken aback for a moment, and then his face was hesitant to speak. Advertisement. Of course, I have been in Huji country for 3 days. Yesterday the chairman was still in the phone bug urging me to hurry up and give him something. Mu Feng said with a smile. About President Aizen. That's really important. Senju brother. There is one thing that brother doesn't know how to say. Kazuki Oden hesitated. Brother Guangyu, just tell me what's the matter, why are you so twitchy? This is different from what Senior Rayleigh told me. Mu Feng said with a smile. Kazuki Oden has something to ask for himself. Mu Feng had expected it a long time ago and knew what it was. Otherwise, the goal has not been achieved, how could he leave? This is called retreat is progress. Kazuki Oden gritted his teeth and said, this way, the old man said it cheeky. You also know that old man is a swordsman, and Senju's hand that was used when he killed the natural disaster must have broken through swordsmanship. The realm of the great swordsman. I don't know. I wonder if the Senju brothers can tell my brother about the realm after the great swordsman. If it's inconvenient, they have the right to talk about it. Senju brothers, don't think about it. What? Look for flowers. I thought it was something, it turned out to be just this thing. Mu Feng smiled and said, of course there is no problem. This was also told by the white bear once. It is also because of the white bear that my swordsmanship has broken through. Swordsman's limit. However, I always feel that swordsmanship is not easy to use with fruit power, so I don't like to use swords. Isn't it inconvenient to say here? Mu Feng looked around. Not far away some servants stood. Oh, it is indeed not very convenient here. Senju, come with me. The quiet room where I usually practice swords is at the back of the hall. Kazuki Oden got up and led the way. Mu Feng followed behind Kazuki Oden, and from the corner of his eyes, I could see Momosuke is looking at his package with a strong face. This kid is hooked. 0. Advertisement. In the quiet room, Mufeng and Kazuki Oden are sitting opposite each other. Faced with Kazuki Oden's diligently studying expression, Mufeng talked about the same set of things he told Koshiro in Seymour Shimura at the time. Talk to Kazuki Oden again. And Kazuki Oden nodded like a chicken. Not to mention Mufeng and Kazuki Oden, in the hall separated by a wall, only Momosuke was left. Without Kazuki Oden and Mufeng, his courage would naturally increase. Looking at the black package on the table, Momosuke was full of curiosity. Because he smelled a very tempting fruity fragrance, his stomach gurgled suddenly. You know, he hasn't eaten a full meal in the past 3 days. What's in it? Why is it so fragrant? I took a sneak peek. As long as it doesn't move, it shouldn't matter. Momonosuke murmured. Then he involuntarily opened the package of Mufeng, which was originally not tight. How could it be an apple? Seeing that it was an apple, Momonosuke was a little disappointed. But now, when he saw the food, his stomach screamed louder. After swallowing, Momonosuke murmured, "It's just an apple. Uncle Senju Hashirama shouldn't be angry, right?" Momonosuke picked up the apple, put it in his mouth, and took a bite. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 219. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Brother Senju, thanks to you, let me know that above the great swordsman, there is such a realm, the supreme great swordsman, and even surpass the supreme great swordsman, but I still underestimated the white bear. This world is the strongest. Kazuki Oden exclaimed. I think that Brother Guangyu's swordsmanship has reached the peak of a great swordsman, and now that he has realized the realm after understanding, I am afraid that he will be able to break through soon. Mufeng said with a smile. Yeah. Kazuki Oden nodded first, then shook his head, and said with a wry smile, although I have the confidence to break through to the level of the supreme swordsman. But as far as it goes beyond the supreme swordsman, I'm afraid I've never reached the realm of my life, brother. Although Mufeng still smiled this time, he didn't say anything. Because it is indeed like Kazuki Oden himself said, his 1, 2, 3 in this life will never reach the realm of surpassing the supreme swordsman. Not only him, even if Hawkeye and Koshiro, who have reached the level of the supreme swordsman, absolutely cannot reach the level of surpassing the supreme swordsman. If it is a genius swordsman who is really likely to reach this level, they will not be restricted by the so-called great swordsman. It can only be said that the eagle eyes and their talents in the sword are not outstanding. The only swordsman that Mufeng can see now is the swordsman in Five Elders. Ah! At this moment, there was an exclamation in the hall outside the house. The voice is very crisp, it can only be made by a girl of 7 or 8 years old. Huh, what's the matter? Kazuki Oden frowned. Let's go out and have a look before you know what's going on. Mufeng said. But in my heart secretly said, listening to this voice, it seems that the effect is not bad. Sure enough, the products produced by the system must be fine products. Advertisement. Kazuki Oden got up, and the two walked out. A few steps away is the hall. At this time in the hall, stood a 7 or 8-year-old girl. The round face, carved in pink and jade, is really cute. Little girl, who are you? Why are you here? You are still wearing Momonosuke's clothes. Where did Momonosuke go? Seeing that it was a little girl, Kazuki Oden's tone was not heavy. But who knows, the little girl almost frightened her without him. My father, it's me, Momonosuke. The little girl said anxiously. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. She looks cute. Everyone who saw Mufeng wanted to hug and coax, but when he thought that this girl was Momonosuke, Mufeng instantly dismissed the idea. You, what did you say? You are Momonosuke. Kazuki Oden's eyes widened. My father, it's me. Kinemon brought me here just now. Momonosuke explained quickly, for fear that Kazuki Oden would not believe his words. Hearing Momonosuke's words, Kazuki Oden had believed it for 8 to 9 points. He hurriedly asked, what happened just now? How did you become a girl? Did you eat some weird fruit outside these 2 days? Advertisement. Seeing Momonosuke's appearance, Kazuki Oden's first thought was devil fruit. No. No, I just ate the apple that was placed in Uncle Senju Hashirama's package. Momonosuke said weakly. Hearing Momonosuke's words, Mu Feng immediately pretended to be great change, stepped to the front of the package, opened the package and looked at it. His face turned a little ugly. Kazuki Oden slapped Momonosuke's face and said angrily, "Asshole. Didn't I tell you that you can't touch other people's things? Why are you not obedient?" I'm just a little hungry," Momonosuke said aggrievedly. Kazuki Oden ignored Momonosuke, but looked at Mu Feng and asked, "Brother Senju, did Momonosuke eat the devil fruit in your package?" "Sorry, it was my brother who taught the sun to supreme. Although the country is not, it often circulates with the outside world, but there are still some devil fruit. What do you think? My brother will compensate you as much as possible." Kazuki Oden is full of guilt. "It's not devil fruit." Mu Feng shook his head and said, "This is the fruit cultivated by the president using a special secret method. I don't know the specific effect. The president just told me that if I eat it, it will definitely regret. It turns out that this fruit has such an effect. No wonder the president would say that. Now I don't have to go to the president. The thing the president asked me to send him is exactly this fruit." Hearing Mu Feng's words, Kazuki Oden's complexion changed again. After seeing how powerful Senju Hashirama is, he feels more unfathomable for Aizen Sosuke. After all, he has heard that Aizen Sosuke beat Senju Hashirama. If such a character is angered, Kazukuni will not be able to withstand revenge. Advertisement. Because of the development of the Hunter Guild in recent years, the name of the Hunters Guild leader Aizen Sosuke has also become more and more popular. In order to make people believe, Mu Feng also fabricated a series of his brilliant achievements, such as defeating Senju Hashirama, forcing the White Bear to join the Hunters Guild. Anyway, it gives people a sense of unconsciousness. Brother Senju, Chairman Aizen is there. Kazuki Oden looked at Mu Feng and didn't know what to say. Mu Feng smiled bitterly and said, "Brother Guangyu, don't worry, I still have a little face in front of Chairman Aizen, so I won't be involved in the country of Wazun." Hearing Mu Feng's words, Kazuki Oden was even more ashamed. He gritted his teeth and said, "Brother Senju, I know that the Hunter Guild's settlement standard is devil fruit and gold. Although there are not a few devil fruits in the country, after all, everyone in the country is mainly practicing swordsmanship. It's very against devil fruit, but for gold, Wano country can take out 200 tons to compensate President Aizen for this loss. It is not the devil 0.5 fruit, but it has the ability comparable to Paramesha devil fruit. Who knows, this is weird. What is the value of the fruit? Not good. Although I don't know how much this thing is worth, it is definitely not worth 200 tons of gold," Mu Feng said. Although he said so, Mu Feng couldn't wait to grab the 200 tons of gold directly. This is 20,000 points in exchange for coupons, which is worth Mu Feng's income for 1 year. "Brother Senju, just accept it. You saved me and saved Kazuki. Brother should thank you," Kazuki Oden said hurriedly, without regret. "Then, well, I will accept it. If I let the president know that my business has brought so much gold, I guess it will bloom." Mu Feng laughed. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtl novel for free. Advertisement. Chapter 220. Previous chapter. Next chapter. Advertisement. Holding 200 tons of gold, Mu Feng left with satisfaction from the country. As for what will happen next, Momonosuke is definitely unavoidably beaten up, but he has already transformed into a girl, and it is estimated that Kazuki Oden will start lightly. What surprised Mu Feng was that Sengoku did not urge himself to return to naval headquarters. Mu Feng was also happy, walking all the way from New World back to the Grand Line. In the first half of the Grand Line, an unknown island. This is a medium-sized island. Although the town in the center is not very prosperous, it does not feel run down and old. The streets are also very tidy. Quick, I heard that the blind uncle appeared in the casino again, let's go. Hey, I'm going to make a fortune this time. Me too, but I took all my wife. Mu Feng, who was wandering around, was taken aback when he heard the conversation of passers-by. Stopping one of them casually, Mu 11 Feng smiled and asked, "Brother, I just heard that you have a doorway that makes a lot of money. I wonder if you can tell me about it." Advertisement. Hearing Mu Feng's words, the young man's face showed an annoyed look. I looked around and found that no one was paying attention to his side. The young man said in a low voice, "Brother, since you heard it, then I will tell you, but you must not tell others." Sure not. Mu Feng nodded. "Tell you, a blind uncle came to the casino in the past few days. The gambling luck is bad, as long as he is the opposite of his size, he will definitely win. I told you only when you were pleasing to your eyes. Don't tell others. No, I have to go quickly." After speaking, the young man ran away quickly. Blind uncle. Love gambling. Very bad luck in gambling. The corners of Mu Feng's mouth raised slightly, he had almost guessed who it would be. I just didn't expect that I would encounter it here. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. In the only casino in the town, one of the gaming tables was full of people. The 3 floors inside and outside, the other gaming tables around seemed to have become decorations. And a blind uncle was sitting at the gaming table with a lot of chips stacked in front of him. No one said a word from the surrounding people, all of them were staring at the blind uncle. "I bet big." The blind uncle was silent for a moment, and slowly picked up a stack of chips and bet them on the table on the side of the big letter. At the same time he opened his eyes slightly. But these eyes are extremely scary, there are no pupils, only the whites of the eyes. And there is a scar on the forehead, scratching his eyes. The identity of this person is naturally self-evident. It is in the original book that, after the battle on the top, became admiral through Marines, world conscription. Fujitora smiled. Advertisement. Those who are capable of the fruits of gravity, even Doflamingo, call it the existence of monsters. But now he does not have the title of Fujitora, his real name is Yishao. No one would have thought that a guy with such a terrifying strength was just a bad gambler. Little. I'm betting on the little. Me too. Fujitora had just finished betting on this side, and the originally quiet and silent crowd suddenly became agitated. They all went crazy and bet their money to the small area. Even the croupier in charge of the gaming table couldn't help but want to bet. After all, this kind of opportunity to pick up money is rare. No, it should be said that he has never appeared before. This blind uncle came to the casino several times, betting on big and small losses hundreds of times, and never won once. After everyone finished their bets, the commotion slowly subsided. I'm big. Suddenly a voice caught everyone's attention. Everyone was taken aback for a moment, looking for a sound. I saw a young man in his 20s, throwing a golden bargaining chip casually, and landed firmly in the big area. Where did you get taken advantage of? This is the same thought of everyone present at the moment. The golden chips represent 100 million Baileys and are the largest chips in the casino. Even the croupier hasn't seen it a few times. Looking at the young man with extraordinary temperament in front of him, the croupier said, "Mister, are you sure you want to bet big? This blind man has lost dozens of games in a row." The croupier's meaning was obvious. To put it bluntly, I mean, do you want to be taken advantage of? Mu Feng shrugged and said with a chuckle, "I am a person who likes strong, not weak, big or small, so of course I want to bet on big. Moreover, people always have time to move, I believe his gambling luck hasn't been so bad forever." Advertisement. Hearing Mu Feng's words, Fujitora's gaze shifted to Mu Feng and then turned back. Mu Feng was very curious about what the blind man could see. The croupier didn't say anything, the reason why he just spoke to Mu Feng. The main reason is that Mu Feng can come up with such a large amount of chips. If you don't give any advice, and you get red after losing money, if you turn your anger to yourself, then you will be over. And now, I have warned him that if he loses any more money, it has nothing to do with me. To be able to stay and work in a place like a casino, the important thing is to win. A group of gamblers around looked at the golden 893 can chip, their eyes turned into Pele. Now, you can make a lot of money. This is 100 million Baileys, even if it is divided evenly with dozens of people, there are still more than 1 million Baileys for each person. Go on. That's right. What are you doing? The gamblers around were shouting loudly, for fear that Mu Feng would change his mind. The croupier didn't hesitate anymore and directly opened the color cup on the table. "Ah, I just bet 200,000 Baileys. Now, you can get more than 2 million Baileys. Don't grab them. I just bet 100,000 Baileys, don't remember it wrong." Without even looking at the dice points in the color cup, the surrounding gamblers shouted loudly, as if the golden bargaining chip had become a green Bailey in his pocket. You don't seem to see the points clearly. 6, 6, and 6 seem to be the biggest points. So I'm sorry, it was me who killed them. Mu Feng also didn't look at the points on the desktop at all. He said lightly. When hearing Mu Feng's words, everyone was stunned. Looking at the color cup on the desktop, sure enough, at 6 o'clock, the biggest leopard, everyone was stunned at this moment. Read more at hotmtlnovel.zi. Chinese MTL fan fiction, second element novel can be read at hotmtlnovel for free. Advertisement.